me sight beyond sight.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
Oh my gosh. What up, y'all? Welcome to this week's B2P. Bear with us. So there's a huge storm over top of us, and we've been having a little bit of technical issues, and hopefully audio and things will be good. But my entire apartment basically decided to reboot right as we were trying to get started, and it was a little bit hairy there. In case you're wondering what's going on over here, here's a map. This is the storm that is currently over my house, which is it's now over Swift Duck's house and Risco's house,
I'm
and
just north of that.
pretty much everybody's house out here. So that's what we're dealing with. So oops, well, I guess I'm over to the goons, but I'm gonna keep my intro going. It's gonna be one of those nights. Bear with us if the stream happens to go down, we lose power for a second. We will be in contact with you in the chat. Thank you for joining us. We love you guys. Before we actually get rolling here, I'll just bring myself up. Goodbye, goons. I just want to shout out the pilot of the week, the one and only Brian Kirby, aka Bone FPV. Fucking a huge supporter of the FPV community and an amazing person, and we love you, bro. Congrats. Happy birthdays this week include the one and only Asylum FPV, Illin Villain, Inspire FPV, Pretty Fly FPV, my goon King Midas, Jack Higgins from Jack's 3D Printing, and Nathan Baker from Banff Decals. Happy birthday, guys. Got a lot of them this week. So
Happy
a lot of great
birthday,
people,
guys.
a lot of great people born this week. And with that, let's get back into this. You guys hear the goons? I hope so.
Hello, check.
Yeah, I'm listening in.
Testes. My testicles are in place.
What else did we have? There was something else I wanted to say, and I don't remember what it was now.
Chicken
I guess, yeah, just chicken butt, yeah. So if we have any tech issues or if stream happens to go down for a few, hang tight. We'll keep you posted in the chat, and we'll try to get back online as soon as possible. It is possible, though. So, storm preparedness. Let's see what's the chat saying here.
Say Mandalo. Send it.
Sending it, we are. Speaking of sending it, you guys get out and fly this week at all?
I got Friday.
I flew a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I flew at Vandal.
I went Friday to an event and I got caught in the fucking rain. I literally when the rain started, I got stuck in the parking lot for like over 2 hours because low car problems. I would have gone through that water. My car would have been underwater. So I had to hang out for about an hour and a half. So the rain was calm enough for me to actually drive home. So
Well,
it was a good day, though.
Speaking of underwater, our hearts go out to all the people affected down in Louisiana from the storm,
Yeah,
and
for real, that's crazy.
anybody down there who's struggling with that. There's a lot of people without power down there and stuff, man, and it's a terrible situation. So our hearts go out to everybody down there involved with that, and we hope it gets back on track as soon as possible for y'all. Let's see. So Greg's been going through a what do we want to call it? A video dilemma of of pretty epic proportions. He's been going back and forth between analog and digital.
Oh yeah, man.
Yes.
You want to tell us
Yeah.
about your thoughts, man? Because it's been interesting to hear your perspectives.
Super perspective, which I enjoyed.
So my issue with digital isn't the clarity. I like the picture quality. It's a mix of a few different things. Like it doesn't feel as reliable. I like analog. I've never had an issue. 3 years flying. If I lost signal, it really wasn't that bad to gain the signal back. If I ever lose signal with the digital, it takes a second before it even thinks about coming back. And
Mhm.
like by then, your quad could be somewhere off in the fucking East Cuddy bumfuck. You don't even know where it is. The other part is when you get really bad breakup, like it's almost impossible to fly through it. Versus like if I have analog problems, it's pretty much I can see shadows, I can see the image, and I know if I just punch out or get out of the bad situation, I'm gonna be fine.
Mhm.
The clarity of analog, as long as you have pretty good equipment, it's gonna be pretty much, what do you need to see fine details for? Like you're not gonna see, like if you're flying watching GoPro footage and you watch a quad hit a fucking power line or a branch and you know that person's flying DJI, you still don't see that branch in the GoPro footage. Like it's not that much different.
Mhm.
So like my thoughts on it, it's more reliable to get analog equipment. The image is a little smaller. I wish it could be a little bit bigger in my goggles, but I'm so used to it, it's not even a big deal.
Well, didn't you mention actually basically scaling down the image in your DJI goggles?
Yeah, it's too big.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I like the immersive view, but like for freestyle, you want your focus, like in a specific area. It's if it's too much, you're moving your eyes around. Like you want to spot a gap, you don't want to really move your eyes too much. You know what I mean? You want to use your
So-
peripheral vision. If you can't use your peripheral vision and it's too wide, you got to move your eyes, and then you lose sight of what's over to your left or to your right.
Mhm.
Pretty much. Just find it more reliable. That's all.
So you're finding it unless you scale down the image a little bit, it's just kind of like being in the front row at a movie theater.
Pretty much, yeah.
Something similar to that.
Or like having like a 30-inch monitor on your desk and you're sitting there with playing video games. I'm not like saying I don't like DJI. I like it. I'm gonna keep flying it, but I like analog better. It's
Mhm.
it's smoother. When you start flying around behind buildings, you don't get those like weird jitters.
Mhm.
Like I can fly through them, but like it makes you think like you have like a bad tune real quick or something like that. You don't know if it was prop wash. It turns out it was just digital feedback. I don't know. A lot of people probably just get used to it, but
Well, I think that you're a hell of a pilot, Greg, and you're pushing some pretty insane things with your rate setup and some of the things that you're in your style and very aggressive, lots of inverted tricks and things of that nature, lots of pretty wild fucking freestyle compared to a lot of many other pilots. I mean, I think that you remind me of like the Farouks and people like that are getting really just crazy and proxy and stuff. And so it's good to hear a realistic, a really, really good, like, because you've been using DJI longer than I have, and 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 unfortunately I don't get to fly nearly as much as I like to at the moment. But my impression currently is I'm still not comfortable. I'm way more. I feel way more confident and way more comfortable using my HDOs versus the DJI rig, especially with the 10-inch, because I have a little hiccup or a freeze. It's fucking terrifying when you're going 90 some miles an hour with beast quad. I know a couple guys down, a couple of the X-Class racers were trying to DJI on their big rigs, and they switched back to analog because of the same basic reasons. Like big giant quad.
Its quirks don't really make it a good experience for me. I mean, a lot of people just probably don't give a shit. But I went 3 years flying a specific way with specific equipment and didn't experience any of those quirks. And I just don't like when I have to deal with new shit for no reason.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say it was the.
It could be a little smoother.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I thought you were gonna say it was the latency fucking with you, running those linear rates and shit. Like,
Nah, the latency never really fuck with me unless I unless it starts losing signal. But by then, you're fucked anyway, because once you start getting to that point, if you're not able to come back real quick, it degrades really fast. And that's one thing I really don't like.
And adding to the fact that it's coming from the fact that most people don't realize. If you watch your videos, you'll notice that you do find out a lot of open spots. So you would think that you have the most optimum signal to to signal to your location
Noise
ratio.
Yes,
But you said that
ratio.
even you mentioned something in the previous chat. You said that actually digital hinder you from doing certain things because of you were not quite confident versus what you're in analog.
Yeah, because you can just whip through a spot and that you're gonna hold that line, or if you need to make a quick left and right turn, that it's gonna be a specific motion. You don't have to wait for the image to catch up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you're playing in a video game. When you go behind, flying far out and then behind something I would normally fly with my analog setup, and then you fly down below and you fly and cruise. You'd start getting that I have a bad connection in a video game type look, but in real life that doesn't really add up because real life keeps going and the fucking image stops. So that's a problem.
Right. Yeah, I've had for me it's the micro jitters that are very unnerving, because it's just analog is for me it just undoubtedly feels smoother. It just feels smoother, and I never and in even when I do have you said a big hit or a big RF hit or something, 99% of the time I'm totally comfortable and confident I'm going to be able to pull myself out of that situation. But I had one fail that was whatever, with the digital, and then but even then I've been really careful. I've been flying, when I'm flying by myself, I'm flying 750, stuff like that. I'm still getting micro jitters, and the only way to turn that up, some people are you got to turn your thermal protection back on or whatever. And it's well, but then if a quad goes down, I lose video. You know what I mean? If I do crash, then I don't have my video because it's going to drop down, so I'd have to, I could rely on Crossfire RSSI if I'm lucky. But I don't like that. Plus, then trying to use apps like Wide FPV or DigiView or something like that, they don't work if you use thermal protection. So it's kind of like a what do you want? What was the word? It's a conundrum, because even running 700, I'm still seeing micro jitters.
Right, and with the chat mentioned, he's talking about jitters, and Greg, he's not talking about the quad jitters, but talking about video jitters. In case people didn't get that part.
Don't get to what Aces is full saying, and actually, Pat, my rig is based, exactly what you and I discussed. I'm running a nice Beck. I'm running, an LC filter. My quads, if you look at my analog builds, they're almost fucking crystal clear. It's not dirty power. It's not a dirty power problem. For me, I can guarantee you that, because if I throw an analog receiver in there, it's just gonna be crystal fucking clear. No, I mean, and I get better range, and people look at my analog feeds and like, damn, dude, your shit is clean. It's like, yeah, because I run proper capacitors, I run filtering on my power, I know how to build quads. I would say I'm in the top, one of the top tier in terms of building and quality and keeping things clean, keeping things away from each other, knowing all the pitfalls. With analog, I've never had dirty power issues.
I mean, I'm not knocking at digital.
1200,
I can go
bro.
Places that I normally can't go with analog. You know what
I
mean?
was. Will Brown. Oh, sorry, Greg. Keep going. I was just gonna answer Will.
Oh,
but,
yeah, sorry.
No.
Like, I can usually go places where I can't fly analog. So like, it has its fucking merits. I like it. I prefer a specific feel, and it like accommodates my flying. I don't have to really worry about like, oh shit, if I fly behind this and if I stay down here too long, I'll start lagging. I don't really want to lag in my drone.
Well, to answer Will's question, I was running 1200 and I was having more jitters and it definitely seems thermally related. I feel like, especially with a Vista, I feel like they do not dissipate heat as well as they need to. And this is on a fucking 10-inch it's got plenty of airflow back in the ass end where it's sitting. It's not buried under shit. It's got airflow. It's got plenty of breathing room. But with 1200 and even 1000, it seemed like I was having more issues. And so, again, somebody's like, well, somebody said, I typically only fly 700 and I don't get it very often. And I'm not getting it. Like, it's not crazy. Right? I'm not getting a crazy amount of jitter, but I'm getting enough of it to be like, what the hell? This is, it removes a certain degree of confidence that I had on analog unquestionably. Because I knew my gear and I knew what to expect. And, and yes, I also do have scanned. I have, the spectrum analyzer on Fusion for analog. I carry a pocket spectrum analyzer. I have an actual pocket spectrum analyzer. I can scan a fucking room and make sure it's totally fine and still have the same problems. So it's not that, you know what I mean? It's, and I'm not the only, and SwiftDucks, concurred, tons of people in various forums have concurred like that. And a lot of times, like, people are like, I've heard more. I lost my quad because my video froze stories than I think I've ever heard. Yeah. Compared to
Stupid
analog
stuff.
In certain regards. Stupid stuff.
I ain't saying analog hasn't caused me fucking problems over the years. It has. I've had shit fucking just black out and just fall from the fucking sky because I had to disarm. But
some asshole plugs in on you. I mean, that's one good thing I'll give DJI is it doesn't let you really plug in on each other per se.
I've only had bad experiences with digital, like maybe like once, like where I had my image completely freeze and then like I lost my fucking quad and I had to go fucking find it. But that was enough right there to be like, I didn't like how my image just froze and I couldn't like recover it. It didn't inspire a lot. It didn't inspire a lot of confidence in the reliability of the thing over like a,
traditional analog.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I noticed like people that use rapid fire fusion, the good thing about those kind of modules, I've noticed that you're at the brink of your video when you start seeing black and white because of the way it stitches the information on it. So that's a good indicator how good your video is going to get. And even when it gets to that point, you still got enough video to fly through. If you keep going through it, then yeah, you see the static start building up, but you can still make out, the images that's around you, if it's a tree, if it's a walkway or whatever the case may be. But with digital, when you hit those outskirts, like mentioned before, you get the the micro jitters, the constant freezing, and then you're done. Well,
I'm really curious, and unfortunately, I don't have the means to get a system right at the moment. But as many people probably know, like the SharkByte, they're selling it. They're trying to get a bunch of people on board, obviously, but they're selling the receiver for $99.
I almost grabbed one, but it was sold out.
Well,
there's RDQ got another batch.
There's other batches. It's not just Newbie Drone. So Newbie Drone had them. Get had them. I think RDQ.
Pyro.
Yeah, yeah. A bunch of people have them, and they're all. They've got a sale going on, and you know, I do want to try it. I did actually see a race organizer who said he got 8 of them and stuck them to a piece of plywood, because that's the one good thing about SharkByte 2 is like you can spectate like analog without worries of what the pilot is doing, or you know, and it's not like DJI spectating is hit and miss. I've had some pretty good views, but I've also had some really pixelated, like, whoa, what's going on, you know, spectating experiences. I'm curious to see how SharkByte will differ in those regards. Yeah, I mean, and Bubby, I mean, the thing that, like I said, I don't know if you were here when I was saying it, the thing that really, you know, is unnerving for somebody like me who flies larger quads is it's the hiccups. It's the little micro jitters.
Yeah, I wanted to actually touch on what Bubby said. Bubby, that is part of the reason why I don't like it. The way that the video breaks up as you get to your video's limits is what I actually don't prefer. I would rather start losing image and having it gray out and still have a reliable feed that I know is, you know,
in
a
time.
specific motion. If I get into an area where I start getting to my video's limits, I don't want to have to deal with my quad. You know, I hit left on the sticks and then it's like slow on the video, and by the time like I'm able to correct on in the thing, it's already ahead of that. So by then you've already lost your quad. With analog, if that starts to happen, you have an image, albeit a shitty one, but you have an image, and it's a no lag image. The reliability, because I mean, I don't have, you know, money to just throw at quads or anything like that, so I'm not trying to lose my shit.
Well,
I've
that's,
never
you know,
lost a quad with analog once.
I
I've
think
had to
we're.
search for my quad probably like twice with digital.
I didn't have any major issues at the drag strip, but I did have a couple of those micro stutters. Now, don't get me wrong, it was cooler than hell to be able to fly like behind myself, where they were staging the cars. Like I flew behind myself, and it was pretty damn clear. I started getting the focus mode kicking in at one point, but it was pretty damn clear. But you know, when you're in a, like, especially like you're trying to be in like a professional environment and you're trying to, you know, accomplish a gig, and there's an audience involved, and you're whipping a quad down a drag strip, and then you have a micro stutter like when you're turning or something, and it's like, is it gonna come back? You know, maybe I'll get used to it over time. I think that I won't, you know, there's absolutely no reason I would abandon it at the moment myself for professional reasons. But for more fun and more like security and more, you know, confidence, like I definitely feel it better on the analog stuff. Just blast 1200. Well, no, that's not true though. The problem is on a 98, you know, degree day and you're blasting 1200, you run the risk of it thermaling, and the more it thermals, the more issues you start having, unless you're running low power protection.
Yes, I run 1200 on mine.
So I've had so many conversations in the last few weeks with guys about, like, you know, a lot of guys are like, run 700, it you know, won't run as hot. You have less issues. You know, the low or the, you know, the temperature protection thing has been mentioned. A lot of people tell me the max they normally run their Vistas on is 1,000 because of the heat, and I'm assuming because, you know, in 5-inch quads there's just it's a lot more cramped, so it's probably harder to dissipate the heat than in like with a, you know, X class or a macro. You know, I think if I'm flying cinematography, you know, and I'm slow, chill, cruisy lines and stuff, that's not an issue. It's like I said, it's when you're ripping down a track and there's people around and you have a micro stutter and you don't know, like, so it's just like I said, it's that I felt it more in that situation than ever before, because it's like, you know, with my analog rigs, I'm just like, I'll rip right down, you know, near the flight line. With my digital shit, I'm staying the hell away from everybody. Like,
I mean, I have flown my quad over water with DJI, and I felt pretty confident doing it. I would
So
definitely choose that. I think there.
is Bubby only using air
I don't know
units?
because it looks
And
cool. I don't know.
and what's everybody's experience on air units versus Vista in terms of heat dissipation? You
I have
know,
definitely seen that that's the case. The Vista will just overheat if you're sitting there messing with your OSD for a few minutes. It'll be like
I have.
unplug.
I've had mine
alright?
overheat a couple times already. Yeah, my Vista's overheated.
My air unit never really has given me a problem.
And I confirmed all my software was up to date. I confirmed, everything. I've, like I said, I've got fucking filtering on my power going into the thing.
That's another thing. Availability
So
of
Bubby's-
this damn technology is rough right now. When you can
Why
still
do you
get
hate
analog
Vistas?
equipment pretty easily.
Yeah, fucking Speedy B just dropped the new freaking VTX. Everybody's dropping
Okay.
VTXs.
So Bubby's saying air units never overheat. So that's a difference that maybe we need to be clarifying here. That maybe why it's better for you, Bubby, is that you're running the air unit and you're not overheating and you're not experiencing the stuff that I'm talking about or what Greg's talking about. There's.
I don't know. At the end of the day, I just like the smoothness of analog better. If I want to film something, I'll probably use DJI. If I want to just like chill and flow, I'll probably use DJI. But if I'm trying to like be really serious about making an edit or something, or like having a good flight, I'm gonna use analog.
Well, I was going to say, with my lifters that I want to do, I was planning to go air units there. And maybe it would be worth me ultimately upgrading to an air unit in my 10-inch if it's ultimately going to give me more confidence. I am curious though to see because like
Bubby said Vistas have has worse penetration. Could be the reason why.
Again, like I said, I mean, Risco, you're the one that even warned me about the micro jitter stuff. You know what I mean? And that's, like I said, it's not failing, but it's, like I said, for somebody who's flown analog for a very, very long time, it just does not instill the highest amount of confidence at times. Like it just gives you, there's just one more little thing you're kind of like is there, whereas like again with analog, like the only time I really have a problem is somebody plugs it on me or like I really screw up and I go, too far behind and too low, I have there's no question in my mind that penetration in a lot of areas and especially in multipathing and like I said, it was cooler than hell to be able to. I flew way further on digital in this environment recently, like behind myself, than I would have probably gone on analog, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The image quality is fucking, it is killer overall, but it's just interesting
because
because
some big thunder. Hell yeah,
bro, it sounded like a train wrecked outside here. Me hop.
Got scared.
Yeah, and I mean, this isn't a bashing thing. This is just a discussion of what our experiences are like, and trying to get information, exchange information, because maybe there are better things we could be doing. What about, are you guys like, with air units, most air unit antenna mounts I see cover the ball, at the ends. Have you guys noticed any difference in the amount of TPU surrounding the antenna? Just wondering.
I mean, it shouldn't falter. I mean, TPU is not conductive, and there's already some form of molded plastic around the antenna. So, yeah, I doubt it that any TPU is causing any attenuation of the signal. If anything, it's the reflection of the carbon, or even so much as the motors themselves. Even the motors themselves, people don't keep forgetting that motors can actually act like antennas themselves. So the further away your antennas are from carbon or any other electronics, including motors, the better your signal is going to be out penetrating out the VTX. So people that are running stubbies, maybe not have a little bit less range. So.
Me Hop's trying, I had to run analog to run the line I wanted for footy. DJI wasn't hacking it. Why? Like, why do you think it wasn't hacking it?
Yeah, you're paying Me Hop. Well, Bubby, you run a spoil in the back of your antenna that bounce off the signal, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, the spoiler's redirecting. It's like an antenna array.
Yeah, it's an antenna array.
Moisture in TPU, says King Turkey. That's interesting. TPU's not super
Yes.
hydrophobic though, really, is it? Like,
It is, but once you have it molded, it becomes less porous.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That won't cause it. I mean, if anything, yeah, it's superficial. It has to do more with any other conductive material is going to reflect or absorb some of the RF, including carbon motors, or even so much as even the crossfire antenna or regular antennas act like reflectors. Those are the only things that can cause any attenuation or improvement of signals, one or the other.
hydroscopic is actually the word I meant. So let's see, what effect, I'm just reading somebody's report actually, I found one. It says, so what effect does TPU have? TPU is hydroscopic material and does absorb stormwater, which is not RF transparent. As such, it has the effect of reducing the total output strength of the antenna, although minimally. Additionally, it shifts the tune of the antenna such that the best frequency performance is 50 to 150 megahertz lower than intended.
Interesting.
It's not like having your receiver set to the wrong channel,
they say 50 megahertz.
50 to 150 megahertz. So
That's
this
a
is
lot of
not
spectrum, bro.
this is not like having. So they're saying it's basically like, how, I don't know, like what remember like R8 and F7 or whatever, like you'll have those frequencies that are like literally like just a little bit off from one another, and if you have like your VTX set to it, but your VRX is set to the other one, like you'll get signal, but it won't be 100%.
Yeah, but 50 to 100 megahertz is a lot because most of the spectrum is in the
Noticeable
kilohertz.
dip.
Yeah, that's not even a dip. That's like a dip. 50 to 100 megahertz. You're almost
basically they're the same.
off the frequency. At that range.
The output frequency is the same, but the signal strength is diminished. The effect of TPU is negligible when we're talking about racing, and minimal when talking about freestyle. And this might affect with flying longer range, but most likely alter the ideal channel for flying distances. The recommendation is always use the antenna that extends further from the body. They're talking about the axis thing. So that's basically somebody's report. I'll have to try to verify. It was part of Painless 360 report. So it's interesting, guys. And I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was an interesting point of discussion. It's interesting to see what we can come up with too. And because I actually put TPU around my rush cherry to make sure I was kind of protecting it a little bit. But part of me was like, maybe I went a little bit too far. I don't know if it really affects DJI. The breakup or blocking some areas would cause me to eat shit on 1200 and low latency. Really?
Yeah, I have the same experience. Lag. The lag is real.
We just, because Greg and
I want my drone to lag, man.
A bunch of us pretty much talk every single day, and as I've just heard this story of the last couple of weeks of Greg's journey of, like, I'm putting an analog one back in what it's like, and this has been interesting. It's good to see what's what. And it's interesting to hear, like, some of you guys in the chat are saying you don't have any issues. Mehop is saying otherwise. The
problem is, all right, so I would take the issues of analog all day over the issues of digital, because you can fly through the issues of analog. You can have shitty video, but you can still see, you can still fly for the day and have fun. But if you bring out a quad and you have a problem with it that day, yeah, have fun. Have fucking fun flying.
And like I said, I think I would feel fine, generally speaking, knowing, as long as I don't, obviously my shit never failed on God forbid, on a Cita lifter, running an air unit on a Cine lifter and using wide FPV and all that stuff would absolutely be my plan without question. At least until SharkByte gets on par and or potentially Orca finally hammers it. So we'll see. And I do. I feel like analog is more predictable. That's I think really what it comes down to when I'm talking about confidence. I can predict what's going to happen with my analog almost 100% of the time. These micro stutters are completely fucking random. There's no rhyme or reason to when they happen. It's not like after a punch out or something. Like if I could predict when they're going to happen, or if I could find some tell, like if my digital signal would do something to let me know that it's about to hiccup, then I'd be like, okay, it's about to hiccup, and with analog, I can totally predict when I'm about to have some sort of a signal issue, generally speaking. And with this, I just haven't been. So I think that's really where it's coming from.
Specimen saying you got to check your antennas for dead spots.
Dead spots. Fuck.
Define dead spots. How do you justify dead spots?
It's like,
what do you mean by that?
there's like a node, there's a null node, yeah, on all antennas, yeah. But I mean, if you're running an Omni, the dead spot is typically going to be the very, very top and the very, very bottom of the Omni, because the pattern is like a donut around the cherry.
I shouldn't have to worry about dead spots causing lag.
Nobody, if nobody,
Come on now.
Here we go. People don't know what the dead spot is that Chad was talking about. Basically, the top of the antenna, that's a node, or the blank area, and at the bottom, that's why it's never good to keep your antenna parallel to your line of sight of your video. It's always at a 45 if you can. Optimum like this, but this causes you to, if you crash, you break your antenna. So 45 is a good number, because once you tilt your quad going forward, it goes back to 0 point. So speaking is this. Also, when I tell a lot of people, and we had this discussion a couple of days ago, when you're on your quad, if you're a head tilter, doesn't matter if you're running a freaking Vaz pepper box with a fucking 7-foot, omnidirectional antenna. If you're doing this, you're literally flying 100% into your node of your signal. So when people are asking, oh, what's the best antenna? You can use the shittiest antenna in the world. No, not saying the shittiest. But if you tilt your head up like this, you're fine. So make that a priority. I'm talking to you, Chad.
No, he's always giving. Hey, Chad, put your head up. Well, the other thing I try to do, honestly, because I know I tend to drop my head a lot, is I just point my fucking antennas up, so that way when I do it, they're like.
I got the same problem.
Now I will say that.
Pepper box.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter, especially pepper box, because the your bandwidth is narrow. So if you're pointing straight down, the whole side of it is done. So it's always good. Yeah, if anybody
it doesn't help when I'm like this and shit.
If anybody sees me flying, like I do stand up, because I can't fly sitting down. I don't feel as comfortable. And two, if you ever see my head tilt, it's not because I see you wondering. I'm literally pointing a direction of where my quad is at. So I keep like a mental line of sight of where I'm flying. And you always see my head tilted to wherever my quad is flying. So basically, I have my built-in head tracker.
He's a built-in head tracker. So this is the pattern that we're talking about. I wanted to kind of bring this up. And this right here is your node, your null spot on pretty much every omnidirectional non-patch style antenna. Just wondered if you guys were curious. So yeah, this text demonstrating, my lovely assistant demonstrating.
Put on my eyes.
Just, maybe I should put toothpicks, like put something to stab myself. You know what is funny though, and Tech noticed it, is I don't tend to dip my head with the DJI goggles, which for the life of me I can't understand, because those things actually feel like they're pulling my head down. So maybe I'm consciously like more, I don't know, but with my analog stuff, because it's just like it's not even there. I'm just like and so yeah, man, it's
you made up a good point, Chad. Now you made up a good point, and maybe Greg too in the says. I don't know, because I don't remember like Greg's head movement. But could that be the cause of maybe the micro starter between your two? Maybe your head is tilted down. And
I don't tilt my head down though. Generally with the DJIs though, you know what I'm saying?
Throwing it out there.
I generally don't tilt my head down. Anytime I come back to flying, like landing, I'm always like looking like this.
All right, we're gonna take two pro tips from both Spagoose. Actually, no, both of them are Spagoose. Go to CVS, get a neck brace.
Get a neck brace.
And also use some
I've
duct
seen
tape
it. I've flown with him.
and a
He
bunch
does
of
this.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, man. He'll be over near his truck, just like attaching his head to his truck and just.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
You always
That was
got
one
me
of the bros. That was like so crazy. That would be funny as hell. Dragon News in the chat.
But now that I said it, he's got to do
there. What
it.
up, Dragon?
So like the
No, like,
yeah,
I'm
I want to
laughing
see. I want to
because,
see somebody's footy of fucking somebody like wear their neck brace and their fucking goggles on, dude. I mean,
I just pictured David Carradine doing fucking FTV.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes, you're right. I remember that. Thinking of that.
That's
What's the name of the fucking movie he was in with the
hilarious.
neck brace? Was it Pineapple Express? No, not David Carradine. No.
No, that's
the
Danny
other guy.
McBride.
David McBride. Right.
Yeah. No, David Carradine. That's how he died. Was he was like autoerotic asphyxiating. He had a belt around his neck.
Oh,
David Carradine died from that. I know the guy from
I need to stop doing that.
NXS died from that.
Yeah,
The lead singer from
David
NXS.
Carradine died from that.
Is this last?
That was it.
Is that his name? I thought it was David something else or something. I
No.
thought David Carradine was the guy that did Kung Fu.
Yeah, Bill from Kill Bill.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
died from that as well, and then so did the lead singer from NXS, Michael Hutchison. That's
Yeah.
what his name was. Sorry, that's not David. It's Michael Hutchison. Yeah, he died from that. But okay,
That's what I
let's
was
get.
picturing from what Greg was saying. Like, put a belt around your neck while you're flying, so you don't.
So you auto asphyxiate yourself while you're in the air, like that's just terrible.
Hung from something.
That's
you
like
just,
terrible, bro.
just, like hold your
All
head
right.
back.
Wow, how did we go there?
I just went more big.
All right,
That's the cool
So
thing about, like Mihop said, what's the cool thing about the Orcas? It's got the tilt warning.
yeah, that is cool, and I wish that was something like that in the
You can add it to it.
HDOs or something.
can
Well,
add
you know, some people. So back in the day, a lot of guys would actually build an antenna tracker in the bay on the HD2s or HDOs or whatever, with a servo. So if you tilt so it would use a gyro, and if you tilted your head, the fucking thing would automatically bring the antennas up. Which
That's
I
badass.
probably actually need one of those because I'm like terrible about it. I just, like I said, I got to the point where I was just like fucking, my patch was sticking up like this because I'm like, ah.
I kept trying to keep Chad in check. Who was at Staten Island? I was like, Chad, move your head up, and he's like, oh, okay. And he'd see him like 2 seconds later. Chad, your
It's
head.
like I'm falling asleep and like, oh, okay.
What?
What? We are going to talk a little bit about tuning tonight. I want to kind of do a quick little thing. I think I've done it before, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about using plasmetry. I don't want to get into it tonight, but I've got a lot of shit going on. I've been rapidly looking, trying to pivot because of my industry being predominantly out of work, and so I'm not going to be as available as much. But I am here. If somebody really needs me, you know where to find me. But I've basically been focused on what I need to focus on, and I can't focus on helping everybody tune and shit every day. It's just not, and whatever. So I'm trying to get you guys, trying to set you all up for success. And, depending what happens, I may ultimately have to move. So Artie is probably going to might be hosting the show for a while. We don't know yet. We're going to figure it out, but we will let you know within the next week or so exactly what's happening. And, hope for the best. But I do want to, just like I said, kind of let y'all know that that's, if you wondered, like, I've been busy trying to take care of my life and situation and stuff like that. And Risco and I have been on the phone helping each other with resumes and things of that nature. And it's there's a lot of stuff going on. So, but we're good. So, and thank you, Risco, for your help. And that's, yeah. It's been a little crazy, but that's basically what's up, and we'll take it from there. Having said that, has Bone showed up? I want to shout out Bone again, Pilot of the Week.
I haven't seen him.
See, so we talked about, $SharkByte's on sale for $99. I think it's a pretty cool
Wait,
opportunity
what?
for those.
It's actually $169 for the full setup, guys. $99 for the receiver.
Receivers,
VTX
yeah.
and camera. So it comes out to minimum. It starts at $169, and it can go up to a couple $100 depending if you want goggles, etc., etc., etc.
How much is the Whoop? What's the Whoop or the tiny, the small?
60, I think.
Is
Don't
it
quote me
60?
on
I thought
that.
it was. Oh, okay.
I think it's 60, I believe. Don't
But
quote
yeah,
me. I'll find out right now.
they're definitely pushing hard, and I've been watching Divi Math and those guys' work and some of the new camera stuff that's happening. It's starting to get there, guys, and
Good.
pretty impressively so. And I'll only bother you if there's no sound on the stream. Oh man, you know.
It's $50 for the new receiver, and then it's $89 for the big one. Whatever the fuck the difference is between one or the other, I still don't know what the difference is.
Isn't it power? One of them goes to 500 or 600, and the other one only goes to 200. I think that's what it
so,
is.
Yeah, I believe so.
But it's like I said,
DNV's out of stock.
They are pushing pretty hard over there. It's just one thing I'll give those guys. You know, Divi Math has been pushing hard and constantly working on making that system better, and it's good to see somebody like basically they're just fucking, you know, hammering it, bro. Like constantly putting out updates, constantly fucking communicating. It'd be really nice. I mean, I think Caddx does a pretty good job with DJI now, and I'm really grateful that Caddx is basically the front for DJI FPV, because Caddx has always been is an FPV community company, you know, and like, whereas DJI really hasn't, and they're not like the most like, you know, transparent. So, you know, it's good to see that, and it's good to see Caddx. One of the things that really helped me like say, okay, yeah, I'll try. You know, two things. Big shout out to Kaio for hooking me up, and then seeing that Caddx was trying to be more transparent than DJI ever was like, okay, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. It's hilarious. Somebody's got two different firmwares and their ESCs.
Wow, somebody got this up by bundle, got two BTX and bundle for $20 a pop. That's a pretty good deal.
What is it?
Yarps FEB said he snagged a SharkByte bundle and got 3 BTX in the bundle for $20 a pop.
Wow, that's
bad.
cool. And have you got the rocket yet?
Rocket.
What? Like ultimately, like I would like to check out SharkByte just to really get a
I'd
good.
like to check it out, but that unicorn barf breakup kind of looks a little weird. Wonder how that's gonna play out.
I'm hoping that ultimately gets minimized. But it seems like. But you know what I will say about the unicorn barf? I mean, let's face it though. Like with analog, it's a lot more like analog. The unicorn barf just doesn't randomly happen when you're 50 feet away from yourself. You get a lot of other things that give you kind of a tell that you're starting to have a signal issue before you get the unicorn barf.
And how is target or like signal? How quick do you get signal back after losing that?
It seems it's instant. It feels like it feels super quick. Like the reacquire is super quick.
Like towards the end of your video.
Yeah, it's like if you were flying out on analog and you started getting lines and you started seeing it, and then ultimately you get to a spot where like it's really starting to snow out, or you dip down low and it really starts to slow out. Like just like you said, you punch out and get up in the air a little bit and it comes right back. And that's from what I've seen, that's what the unicorn barf seems to be doing on SharkByte. So it's interesting. Is it okay? You have to let us know, Yarbs. I'll be interested to see. Yeah, what time is it? Okay. And again, apologies for being late tonight because of the storm. Sorry about that. And Waldo's here. You guys say hi to Waldo?
Hey.
Who? Where's Waldo? I haven't seen Waldo. Oh, there we go. I see. That's Danny DeVito.
Yeah. That's Goonver.
Is that Kiss H7 back in stock, or is that still a hard to get item?
I think that's hard to get right now.
Yeah,
last time I checked Flyduino's site, they may have had them in stock, but their site was like so overloaded.
Yeah, the one
All right, it's not bad right now.
About 5. We're gonna do the game of quad on time, so we got about 5 minutes. But aside from that, what do you guys? We're starting to see Hero 10 leaks.
Out of stock.
The first couple were definitely like, is it real? Is this real? Is it fake? But the one guy, so the guy that is basically the one leaker that leaked all the stuff for the 9 and other models in the past and was 100% accurate is basically confirming the leaks for what it's worth. And I guess, the credibility there would be that he's been right in the past. So I would give credence that he could could be right this time as well. The thing that I'm still hoping to see, but there's a lot of rumors about a Session X or Session 10 or whatever, and maybe it's just wishful thinking. It would be nice to see though if they did do something. But what do you guys think? So you guys seen these these fucking Hero 10 leaks? Like,
yeah, I keep looking this shit up, getting excited because I just traded in my 8 for the warranty.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up giving me a gift card for like $414. So I just need them to release whatever the fuck they're gonna release, so I can use that gift card on it. Yeah,
because everything I've seen doesn't look like actual pictures. It looks like rendering, a very high glossy render. So until I actually see product, they show a box, big fucking the box don't do shit. I want to see the product itself, and to me,
if it's the same size as a 9, and fits in my mount, so I'm just gonna trade my 2 9s for 2 10s.
Well, the rules is it's gonna be bigger.
Edwin says it looks fake as fuck. It's interesting.
I hope it's smaller though. It would be nice if it is a little bit smaller.
Hell no, it's not gonna happen.
I would like it to be. I just want it to be lighter. I want it to be lighter.
Hey, Russ said.
I mean, there's a shit ton of sites basically reporting the same thing. See if there's any new pictures.
No, everything's rendered by the same fucking picture.
I just don't have anything right now, so I'm excited to buy like whatever they put out. I'm buying it.
I wonder if they'll bring back 2.7K 30 without the lens. That'd be nice.
Well, that would be nice. And then what's the other? You can't do the horizon lock without the lens mod either.
No,
apparently.
You can try and do it, but like it's janky.
Yeah, the one most credible thing I saw was the one that had the picture of the box, and that looked legit to me.
I don't know. The box looked rendered to me as well.
You think?
Yeah, that box looked rendered. I mean, it's similar to the typical GoPro box,
You're
but
rendered.
You can add. You can Photoshop, the specs on it. Everything's rendered. Sometimes when you see a leak of an image, you'll see the image of, somebody holding their hands, or you see a product placement on a display. Everything they shown looks like it's completely generated in every aspect of it.
I'm trying to think where I saw. Yeah, this is. I don't know if that's rendered tech. Here, let's look.
Let me see.
Does it look wrecked? That doesn't look. Get out of here. That doesn't look rendered. Really, does it?
Mm-hmm. That still looks rendered.
Gotta look at it here.
See, like that to me, that looks rendered because it doesn't look like a product. It doesn't look. You just look at it. Look at it closely. Look at the reflection of the mirror. Look at obviously. Look, they put a picture of somebody skiing, of somebody snowboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about it looks rendered, and they put a flare on it to make it look like. Look, come on, that's rendered, brother.
Blue text on it looks fake to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't real.
It ain't real. Nothing about it is real.
Well, that could be
like that Session 10.
What gave me away is that flare, that little fucking flare thing they put on it to make it look like a reflection of a fucking lens. No, look at the bottom of the mount.
Oh, like this?
No,
or here?
Keep looking. I see the 2 flares. That's 100%.
What, here?
Rendered. Look right. Move your mount a little bit to your right, top right there. You just
touched
it.
These. Well, yeah. I mean, that's not to say it couldn't. It's not a fucking photo they didn't add flare to make it look cool or whatever. I mean,
why there?
I don't know. Somebody thought somebody thought they were creative and aren't.
Yeah, right.
Game of quad.
Jesus Christ!
It's like 1 minute. Pushy bastards. Jesus Christ.
Son of a.
Actually, it's 11. It's 11:14. I don't want to hear your shit.
Oh, that was me. I thought it was quarter after already.
It is now.
Well, it depends where you at, though. Game of Quad, guys.
It's Game of Quad time. Let's get there. So what's up this week? We shout out to Fixit FPV who won last week's Game of Quad and set this week's trick. We're gonna go ahead and get in here to that. And let me make sure I got the thing here. All right. So first up, we will have. Let me just make sure this is good.
He said, Mihapa says he's carrying a Brazilian stripper midget with the latest iPhone. Wait, wouldn't that be a tripod?
She's just standing on top of it, holding an iPhone.
So
Feet
this is
strapped
the
down to the top plate.
Yeah.
this week's trick was the backside power loop, aka Matty flip. Yeah. So this is Fixit FPV setting the trick. Was it? It's not really a Matty flip, is it? It's not like a.
Matty.
I don't think
No.
so.
I mean,
No, because a Matty would
Matty
normally
all a
fly
Matty's flip
over
is-
it. You would flip. You would go over the thing first and then come under it. He's
Yeah, got
going.
backward momentum.
He's going back under it and then
Or south.
over it.
I think
So it's-
as long as you end up going over the object and then upside down, I think it's
As long as you,
Wait,
as long
wait,
as you can
wait,
flip
wait,
it,
hold
would-
on.
would fuck the
Hold
brain
on,
too.
hold on.
It's just a reverse,
What do you guys-
an inverted split S.
Where's my? We'll use the whoop. So the Matty flip. Come on, Risco, got another one for you. I can do a fucking Matty flip. So Matty flip, you go over the object and come around it, but he's actually in front of the object going under it and then
Yeah.
over it. So it's not the same maneuver.
Now try
It's-
doing
It's
it.
more almost. It's
Now, can
it's
you
almost like
show
a.
it, but like a whoop will do it?
Well, whoop. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a brushless
For
whoop. I mean,
whoop, we're trying to do a Matty flip.
so I'm glad we got that covered. What do you guys think? What do you guys think in the chat?
Yeah, it's
We're
just a
right.
reverse power loop. If you're going around it backwards.
Backwards,
That's what
so
it
it's
is,
not-
a reverse
so I'm
power
just-
loop.
Because I saw a couple of the things said Matty flip, but it's not a Matty flip. So maybe
No, a Matty flip is just a way of saying I went over the object and then back through it backwards.
yeah, because because I always like keep the object in my view
Profile.
as I'm going, and then that's how I know I'm close enough or whatever, and I'm going. Shh. But this is not the same. So interesting. I just was clarifying even for myself because I was like, huh? So our first entrant of the evening is the one and only Big Oily Guy, and we'll drop the list for you now.
Meow.
Kapow!
Meow.
Hopefully it works. And yeah, it worked. All right, here we go.
Fucking Marty flips.
Rick and Morty flip.
So that's actually a Matty flip. Right?
Yeah.
He didn't do the reverse and then come forward.
You gotta go ass first.
Yeah. Do it. Oh, I thought you were gonna go through the fucking monkey bars too.
We call it a monkey.
Oh, he does go through them. Nice.
There's your answer. He heard you because
Do it in one line though. I want to see it next time. Or I thought he was gonna do it there. Oh, I challenge you. Do that, but go through the monkey bars after the slide.
Works.
Oh, Sparky.
I didn't realize when I watched it the first time that he used Ghost Main.
It was Sparks has been tearing it up.
His neighbors must hate him.
He says they're cool.
With the cable line.
All right, who we got here? We got Vatisville.
And we'll see when we come back through.
Damn, seeing this compared to the new sim that dropped, this looks like fucking.
I know, right?
It's like poo poo.
Okay. So what Israel is doing it?
Yeah, what's up, Trinity?
Okay.
All right, we got Justin Jones.
You need the Justin Davis and the FPV drone camp.
Goonies never say die.
Did I miss the trick?
He did it like right in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, did it quick.
Wait. This is Adam FPV.
Oh yeah, but first,
Good shit, John. There you go. Let's go, bro.
oh yeah.
Oh shit, he's going into the end.
There you go.
Nice, dude.
Oh shit. Emergency alert's going off.
I
No.
heard that. I turned my shit off. It's annoying. I
They
literally.
need safety warnings.
Good night,
it
Mihop.
turns
You see what?
That was dope, bro.
Hit the next send to Waldo.
Oh, I missed it. Oh, true.
We got JFPV.
Wow, he's so gully. He screenshot his screen.
You screenshot your simulator, bro? What's up?
What the fuck?
Oh, that's so funny. I mean, hey, he's getting it done.
Hell yeah.
You know what though? This is a hard trick though. So honestly, I'm gonna say anybody that submitted a sim post, you know, nobody wants to break their shit. Let's be real. 90% of these trick to do.
Yeah, doing this stuff isn't about going out and breaking your shit. If you're not like fully comfortable doing the trick and
doing
you're
it in
gonna
real
do
life,
the sim,
yeah.
go for it, man.
Go for it,
real.
exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
Or if
Yeah,
you just
doing
can't
this
get out
shit,
to fly.
You're just slamming your ass into the ground.
Facts.
I've done game of quads where I just can't get out to fly, so I do it on the sim.
But
I should do that more often because I never fucking remember to do these damn tricks lately.
All
That's
right,
the
we
way I
got
do it.
got another one here. This is
90% of them are sims.
this is Jivo
awesome.
in the
Jeez.
sim,
hell yeah, Jivo.
getting it.
And that orthodox was that Diro or liftoff sim?
This is a liftoff.
AKA the
Ooh.
Tron world. There you go. Even he crashed. There you go.
All right.
All right. Next.
Is this fly fish? You guys both doing it?
I guess
I'm
so.
so confused. Oh wait. Okay.
Is it an edit or the trick? Oh, there you go. That's it. There you go. Okay. Okay.
Yep, same John Solo. I just got that thing going crazy on my phone.
Yeah, apparently there was a big tornado in Maryland or something already.
Jersey, I guys got it too.
All right. So that was our list for tonight. And we get the playlist reset.
That big oily, he tried to do the trick. That looks like he did the trick. What's the other warning that people get on their phones? The with the freaking car.
Amber alert.
Amber, yes, that whore. She gets to everybody's car. You notice that? Am I wrong?
He's not right. I don't know. He's just
mean,
not
My
right.
car's never matched the description of one. Holy fuck.
Ain't that mine either. But Amber loves getting in cars, bro. I'm telling you.
Apparently, Amber
You
does.
should probably not do that anymore.
Yeah, right. All
Well,
right.
she lost all that money at the OpenTX, so she got to get money from somewhere.
Oh my god. All right, there we go again. There's your options. Let's start from the top with big oily guy, our first entrant.
Oh, okay, yeah, you did do it.
He did it there. Yeah. Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't catch the yaw.
I didn't either.
He didn't
I
yell, he hit it.
always see these better the second time.
I'm in the trap, hoes stalking me, they jocking me, and topping me, they call me Mr. Monopoly. I'm in the club, get a fine model, pouring rose out the wine bottle. I fucked the bitch to the sunrise, I ducked her off at the sunrise. I got bands, I blue cheddar, serve my white boy out of blue cheddar. Got two hoes, see who's wetter. If you knew better than you.
He did that. Can you just notice that now?
My life's a dream, got a bunch of things, get massacred. I got the bands, I blue cheddar. You knew better, you'll do better. It's diesel.
Good night, Jivo.
Good night, Jibo. It's Weirdsday,
Jibo.
my dudes.
And Big Water sending brownie points.
I could see you actually going for that. You want that fucking little gap. You probably already done it.
Yeah, he's just showing off right there.
He doesn't want to like hurt our feelings.
You hear my feelings. I feel offended.
This is Sparks.
I can't.
Hey, what is real?
What is real? Doom Raider, he couldn't do that because he'll slip off the monkey bars. Hello, Big Oily.
That's what threw me off at first, Johnny Blaze. I didn't even realize it was oily flying.
You know what it was?
Fly in the
It
playground.
wasn't a bando.
Yeah, it wasn't a bando. Yeah, it was obligatory
Real world experience.
penis graffiti.
Finally picked a different map.
He finally picked a different map.
He slipped out the multiverse just to reality check himself. Anyway, he went back into it.
That was Justin Drones. We got. Is this Adam?
Is it?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know, you kind of hit the floor. I don't know. Okay.
Juan.
Juan. He did? Oh yeah, he did, right. He did the Gates of Hell. You're right about that, John. Who's this?
It's John Solo.
John?
Have a good night, Reckinson.
Good night, Regison, brother. Much love, bro. I want to congratulate all our pilots' entrants this week. You guys are all killing it. Keep it up. Keep pushing.
Yes, sir.
All right, AJ, be good, brother. We got Jivo. Why does it say fly fish on the screen, though? I'm so confused. Oh, it's because he was with him. I got it.
Have a good night, AJ.
Good night, AJ.
Ninja vanish.
Good stuff.
Oof.
And then we have fly fish. Right? Yeah.
I voted binary.
We had 9 entries tonight. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Keep it coming, guys.
Yeah, I gotta get back on it.
Yeah, you and me both, bro.
Agreed. Killer job, everybody. Bravo. You guys keep pushing. That was rad as fuck. You guys are all fucking killing it. And keep it up. Let's go. Give it a couple more minutes and then I'll close the voting.
Get your votes in. Get your votes in.
Get your votes in. Yeah. So, I want to talk a little bit about plasmetry. A lot of people ask, for tuning help and stuff, and I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about it and even just a couple little tips with Black Box Explorer. As a matter of fact, there's actually an...
Sorry, that was a fucking beefy ass.
I was like...
I thought Ram Ranch was about to start playing. I got a little worried.
dude, it's like play Ram Ranch.
Well, chat,
Good
for
God.
those that don't know what plasma is, let's explain a little bit what plasmetry is.
Well, I'll get into it. And but as I was saying, I wanted to give it one little tip about using plasmetry, and even there's another little tip about using Black Box Explorer. And I was about to say that there's also, for all you guys running Emu Flight, there is an Emu Flight it's kind of a beta-ish Black Box Explorer. It's totally functional and it can't mess anything up, but I know Nerds posted it a couple times. Hit me up if you want to get it. I could probably find a link here in a second while I'm talking. But there's in testing, there's an Emu Flight Black Box Explorer that is a little, it's better for Emu Flight users because a lot of the fields are actually where they need to be and things like that. Because traditionally, if you use Betaflight's Black Box Explorer with an Emu Flight log, a lot of the fields aren't being filled out because they're not one for one. And so Andre has actually been putting work in to get the Emu Black Box Explorer dialed in for Emu, so all the fields will be filled in and you won't have to dig quite as much to see the information that's relevant. One thing that I wanted to mention is that when you guys are trying to use these tools, you really need to be careful about crashing or landing hard You want to really try to take off and land gently, because any big bumps or things like that, they're going to show up as noise in your plots, and it could throw you off if you're not aware of it. You don't catch it. Like if you open up your log in Black Box Explorer and then you pull up one of the the noise plots, or if you run a plasma tree on it, which is a program that graphs PID loops and noise, you'll see these spots of noise that actually don't exist when the quad's in the air. And if you totally try to set your filters based off that data, you can potentially over filter something that isn't actually a problem. Now, one important tip that a lot of people don't know about, if you're just using Emu Flight Black Box Explorer, or you're using Betaflight's Black Box Explorer,
put a link to the GitHub in the chat.
You got it already? I was getting ready to say.
Waldo got it.
Is that the Emu Flight Black Box one?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, sick. You sexy man. Thank you. So, anyways, if you're using Emu Flight or even Betaflight's Black Box Explorer, and you did have a crash, now one cool thing about those is that you can actually, and you're looking at the noise data, in one of those tools, you can actually, you can scan through the log down at the bottom, right? So what you do is you actually move into just after you take off, and you hit I for in, and then you go towards the end, and you get just before where you landed hard or crashed, and you hit O, and it will now only look at the data in between the in and the out, and it will cut out the takeoff and landing information. So any crashes or noise that happens, you are not going to see that data. And so if you look at if you do this, and like you have one of the FFTs pulled up for your noise graph, and then you'll see a change. I'm gonna see if I can find a file here. I've got so many people send me. You'll see the actual output, the plot of the noise change. Now, unfortunately, I have not figured out a way to do this with Plasma Tree yet. So it's just something to bear in mind. And the two other big points I want to make before we really get any further into this is that you want to make sure your logging rate is, I recommend 2K normally, but the point I'm really trying to make is that both in Plasma Tree and Black Box Explorer, depending on your logging rate, your noise plot will show a different range of frequencies. So if you're logging at 1K, it only goes up to like 500 hertz. If you're logging at 2K, it goes up to 1,000. Now, it's cool. Like I normally start at 2K, and then and then once I know I got nothing major in there, a lot of times I might bump it down sometimes if I want to run a plot to just look at the stuff that's down low. But your logging rate changes that height of data. And then the other thing that I recommend is if you are trying to do this stuff for tuning purposes, don't fly a whole fucking pack. You need a good solid 20 to 40, maybe, 20 to 40 seconds, and you want to take off, just take off, fly, make sure you're doing yaw and pitch and roll maneuvers, but you don't need to be doing flips and stuff. You literally want to just be kind of flicking the quad in different directions, flicking the yaw a little bit, just to get some input data, and then try to land in the grass and not crash, or land hard, because it will affect what your noise is showing you. I see a lot of people running 7-minute fucking flights and then trying to tune off of it. And it's like, don't do that. It's not really helpful. You don't need that much flight time. I'm sure a lot of people have seen. I'm not really going to get into the Black Box Explorer side of things tonight. Maybe we'll do it again later. I did want to the reason why I want to show you guys Plasma Tree is because it's pretty much, I hate this for lack of a better term, it's pretty much fucking idiot proof. It's just a stupid, simple application that can give you a good overview of what the hell's going on with your PID tune. And if you want to check it out, I'm going to drop the link to the GitHub. Plasma Tree.
Look, my mama said I was special, okay?
And you can get the app there. And then the second link I'm actually gonna put in here is an article by GetFPV. So, anyways, what the hell is plasmetry and why should you care? Well, basically, it's a stupid, simple application. You fire it up, you literally just drag a log into it, and what I normally do is I make a folder on my desktop or something, and I put the name of the pilot who sent me the log, you know, like Oily whatever, or John Solo whatever, and then I will put the log in that folder. And if I know something specific, like I will try to name it accordingly. Like if I know it's a 10-inch or a 7-inch or something, I'll try to. Once I put the log in there, there's an option to create a plot name in Plasmetry, and when you do that, I'll be like Oily 5-inch Vista or Oily 5-inch air unit. If I know what the quad he's telling me, he's one example because he actually sends me logs and tells me what's in the quad, so I know what the hell's going on. Or if I know it's a 7-inch or a 10-inch or whatever the case may be, I will do this process in Plasma, and then it creates a folder based on whatever name you create. And Black Box is the devil. And then you can always go back and look at your information later. So just gonna bring up a graph here really quick. So this is an output graph from Plasmetry, and this is actually the PID response graph. And and what I like about it is it's a really quick way to see how much overshoot you've got. So you'll have the input, it says roll loop input in orange, and then the roll gyro is blue. And if you see the gyro like way past the orange, that means you have a lot of overshoot. It means your tune is actually off. So your gyro is overshooting, which typically is indicative of too much P or not enough D term. Let me just do a couple other quick things. So this response area here is how much data across throttle you've gotten. And then the actual graph this is P, okay? And then D brings it back down, and then I keeps it right about 1. That's what you want anyways, okay?
Close to it.
Oops.
Risco said right now, if you upload a log to the tuning channel in Emir Flight Discord, the bot will post the graphs for your logs automatically.
Oh, it is doing that now? Oh, shit. So Tuning Hub is it doing Plasmetry, Risco? That's fucking rad too. Well, that's actually good to know. So that's in the tuning channel. Okay. Good shit. So what are we looking at here? All right. Anyways, so what do we want? Well, what we want is a good steep, up to 1-ish, and then down to 1-ish, and then it stays roughly at 1-ish. This is a subjectively good tune in terms of PID response. This is a good log because it has a lot of data, and and the guy went all the way through throttle. He went from, you don't want to go crazy going up and down. You don't want to be like just blipping throttle, but you want to like take off and fly all the way up to basically full throttle, and then throttle down and do some maneuvers. Like I said, some short maneuvers, and then land quietly. But this is what your goals are, effectively, guys. And the response time, which is an indicator of how well like the quad is actually responding, goes this way on the log, right? So you see how this is nice and tight, and it's this distance between here and 0 is pretty short. That is what ideally what you're going for. You're looking for very little overshoot, and you're looking for it to ride along the 1 line. Now, let me just pull this out here for a second. Actually, hold on. I want to show you some of the other graphs here, and then we'll actually run a log. So what generally the process if you really want to tune it from scratch, I'm just going to bring us back for a second. If you really want to tune it from scratch, what you want to be doing is you should try to set your I and D terms to like 10, and then you start your P at like 20, and then you literally fly for 20 to 40 seconds, and then you come and you land, and then you raise your P by 10, and then you fly for like 20 to 40 seconds, and then you come in and land, and you raise your P by 10, and then you come in, and then you same repeat, rinse it and repeat it until like either the quad starts like you're oscillating badly, or like you get to like 60 or 70 is usually generally a good place. And then you would want to look at bringing up your I terms. Actually, I do I terms last. I do D next personally. So what I do is the same process. Is I will start bringing up my D terms against those values. And I actually kind of misspoke. So let me try to show you this, because I don't want this to be confusing more than helpful. All right, here we go. So I kind of misspoke, and I'm sorry. I apologize. We've got all these graphs here. So what you're doing is you're bringing up your P terms until you're getting a nice value that is, I normally go to about 1.25. So when you're looking at these graphs, you're going to raise your P term until you get it up to about 1.5. And so what you're doing is you're doing this process really quickly, right? You're doing 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70-ish maybe, or if your quad starts oscillating, you stop. And then you stop and you look and you find the one that gets you a pretty good value and a pretty good response time. Because you can also see is as you're raising your P term, your response is getting lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser, right? You have less distance. So you're trying to find a spot to where you're roughly around 1.25 and 1.5 maximum, but you've got a decent response time. And so for me, what I would do is in this case, he doesn't have quite the best response time yet, but he's not overshooting heavily. And he's at about 40. So what you do then is you say, okay, you set it to 40. Now, this is when you do you could do your D term, and you want to start smoothing it out. And let's see if I can find a graph of that. Sorry. Trying to find, I'll bring us back so you don't have to look at me look around. Oops. Son of a bitch, I closed the window. Okay, damn it. History lessons, what? We got a spammer in the chat, guys.
Yeah.
I got it. Well, Waldo got it, but I'm gonna make a comment.
Greg got him.
I think
I
we
think
all
Greg
got
got him too.
Yeah.
I think we just kept shooting.
Shot callers.
Oily was on top of it too. I'm timing him out for 3 years.
Damn.
I'm just banning him permanently. Why is Will Brown getting timed out?
It happened to Philly as well. Yeah, I don't know why he said you.
Waldo's sorry, guys. Waldo's timing you guys out accidentally, so don't.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Sorry.
Waldo, collateral damage, bro. Collateral damage. All right, let me get back to it. So some people you could do.
Brain fart.
Sorry, you could do your I term next if you want, but I've always traditionally done my I terms last.
Same here.
So what I would do, so where was I? So I was saying, like, so you ideally what you're looking for in these graphs is to get a decent response time and get it. I mean, really what you want your P to only really do is go up to about 1, but most people will do a little. I try to go up to a little between 1 and 1.25. So in this case, again, my P term would be, for what I'm looking for, I would start at around 50. Oh, I'm on the wrong graph. That's why they chose 50. Oh, this is dumb. Why doesn't it let me just get out of the graphs? And then, so they chose 50 in their P terms. So let's look at what they had. So their value of 50, it was between 1.25 and 1.5. And it has a nice tight response, right? So that's what they chose. So you pick the one that looks pretty good to you, right? The reason why I say 40 is because, and why I would pick 40 personally, because it's a little bit less aggressive, and I'm still going to tune up in the end. So what I'm doing is I'm running it till I get a P term that's looking pretty good. And I'm obviously paying attention to I and stuff a little bit, like as I'm looking at the graphs to see if there's, get an idea where I'm going to head. Then the next thing I'm going to do is start bringing up my D term to bring that overshoot down to 1. Okay, so, or close to it, right? So you've got your graphs here, and in this case, they're raising D term. Okay, so they picked 50. And then their D term went from 10 to 20, and then they went up to 25, and then they went to 30. And as you can see, the overshoot is dropping, right? Until they're getting closer to, in this case, they had 40 and 50, and they're getting closer to there. This is probably what I would consider to be over dampened, which means your D term's too hot. Now, the big important thing, obviously, to remember at this point is you want to make sure that you are checking your motor heat the entire time you're doing this. And in this particular case, what they did is they decided to set their I term second, and then they did D, which is absolutely probably not a bad idea also in some cases. But and all you're doing with your I term is you're trying to get it to make sure that this line is on 1 and isn't really janky and it isn't really wavy. So if it's really like jittery, that means you probably don't have enough I term. And if it's really wavy, it means your I term is actually oscillating and you actually have too much I term. And then the idea with the D is to get it somewhere close to 1. Get it about as close to the 1 as you can without your motors fucking catching on fire, right? So I'm gonna run a graph here in a second. Let me just get the application open. Now, sounds like a pain in the ass, but if you really want to dial it in like from scratch, starting at like I said, P term around 20, I and D around 10 each, and then 10 on your P until it's starting to oscillate, or if you're up in like the 60, 70 range. I usually stop around 60 or 70 tops, but 60's about it. So normally I go 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
On P.
Right? On P, right. And the reason why you don't want to go way crazy higher is because at some point you got to bring D up. And at some point you're going to bring D up to the point where your motor's going to start getting warm. And if you can't get that peak knocked down with the maximum amount of D you can put on the craft, then you're going to have to bring P down. And that's why I personally would have chose 40 instead of 50, because it gives me a slightly better starting point. And then you're literally just setting your eyes so that you have a nice smooth line across that graph right on 1. And and once you get it mostly flattened out, now if your response time isn't quite there, what you can do is once you have a P and D ratio, you can raise them together using a calculator. And I'll put a link of the calculator in the chat, but you just need a ratio calculator. So if your P is 28, or say your P is 50 and your D's 35, you can start bumping your P up like, a couple points at a time, and you can calculate what your D term needs to be to remain, remain in the same ratio. Where did I put? Okay, sorry. So, what is this silly app? Right. So let's get this folder open.
Oh, you silly.
What is this silly? Okay. I'm just going to bring Windows Explorer over here. And the reason why I like using Plasma, because, I'm not always connected to the internet. So if I'm taking my laptop in the field, I have Plasma Tree on my laptop. I don't need to worry about being connected to EmuFlight Discord or any other online service to do the same, to get my graphs. But, so let's see here. We also talked about filtering a little bit the other day. So the app is easy to install. You literally just download it, unzip it, put the folder like in your documents or something. How much for half day tuning class? Well, let's discuss. Everybody's scared to type now. There's other ways to tune. Like I used to do stingy tunes, and I highly recommend you learn how to do a stingy tune. That's down and dirty, but I'll tell you what, a lot of the graphs I've been getting from EmuFlight 04, fucking PID responses are pretty damn good default. Like a lot of these graphs are looking pretty damn good. So let's just let me get one other thing. I just need to find Oily's logs here. I think I got some from Oily.
Yeah, I think it's time we close that game of quad.
Oh yeah. Fuck. I already can tell you who won.
Oh yeah, I think it's obvious.
Sorry about
Matty
that,
Blunt's.
guys. Matty Blunt's won, guys.
Again.
And he was here last week. Jesus Christ.
Congratulations to
Matty
the one and
Blunt.
only Juan Blunt Solo,
Holy
who won this week's game of quad. Thank you for reminding me, guys. All right, so let's just try to. Just gotta do one thing. I got so many damn windows open. Oily. Or I could use John. Oh, here we go. So. Let's do this. All right, so. Thankfully, I didn't shut the stream off when I did that. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So anyway, so you unzip. So guys, you're going to download Plasma Tree. I put the link in there. We can put it back up. You get Plasma Tree from GitHub. You download it. You unzip it, and you get a folder with a bunch of fucking weird shit. And you're like, what is this? I don't know what the hell this is. Oh my god. But the only thing you need to know is that you need to know this one right here. PID Analyzer EXE, and this is the current version is 05.2. I'm running 5.1. It doesn't really matter. 5.1, 5.2 works. Okay, so you just click on it, and what should happen someday is this window will pop up. All right, you get a window to the wall, and it's gonna sit here for a minute.
Beaners?
And it's not gonna look like it's doing anything, but you just got to give it a few minutes to like let it do its thing, and there it goes. Okay, so you got this window. Okay. Got a window. All right. And now what you need is a log. And we got Oily's logs. He's got an AU log and a Vista log. So I'll just grab his Vista log. All right. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to drag it over here. All right. Now, the important thing to do is click on this window to make sure you're actually focused on it. And then just hit enter. And it makes a liar out of me. Hit enter. There it goes. And then it comes up and says optional plot name. I'm just going to call this Oily Vista 2. And then you say yes. All right. And now it's going to start running its little thing. And it's going to run its little program here. And yeah, you can go. It's dab time.
Nah, it's gonna be like for every computer. We'll never run that. It doesn't matter if you're a fast, slow computer. That's just the way it runs.
It just runs this way. It usually doesn't take very long. But But again, the reason why I like this is just because it's easy. You can just, you set it up, you tell it to do the thing, and in a couple minutes later, it's going to spit out your graphs and you get info. So here we go. So here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Okay, so the first one that popped up is our noise plot. Now, one thing I do recommend is that there's no data on debug here. I do recommend that you go into CLI and you type set the debug mode to gyro scaled, so that way you can see the raw gyro noise in these fields. It's just it's useful. It can be useful data to have to make sure you see and then because you can actually see what your filtering's doing versus what noise you actually have. And as I stated, you can see this runs up to a little bit over 800, and this is because he's running a 2K logging rate. This, as you're moving your mouse down here in the corner, you're gonna see values, and it's going to say Y and X. So X is your throttle percentage, and Y is your frequency in hertz, right? So when you're looking to set filters, if you got a bunch of shit up here above this baseline noise down here, your filters are not set properly or not aggressive enough. And what will happen is if on this side in your gyro, if it's not set well, it's going to spill into your D term, and your motors are going to get hot. All right. It also kind of show you how much, like if your TPA is kicking in much or not. There's a red line that shows you where your TPA is set, and then this is showing you what your throttle is doing versus that, and how much attenuation is going on there. Can be useful data to have. Now, why is this important? If you got hot motors, you can look to see if it's actually a noise issue on your D term, and then you can adjust your filters accordingly. Now, the next one, and the more important, equally as important one to use, is going to be the response graph. So I'm going to get back into in a second here. But as you can see, that with the filter setup in Emu Flight for Oily's quad, this is a pretty decent noise response. You might have a tiny bit, little bit of noise over 100, but it's nothing terrible. What you're really looking for is lines of noise up in here. Or if it's really spiking up above 100, ideally you might want to have a little bit less. But if you're seeing that stuff, you need to lower your D term filtering, or maybe adjust your gyro. You need to look at your gyro filter and against your D term, and you might need to bring your filters down. And so the cool thing is when you're moving your mouse, it's telling you the frequencies. So it gives you an idea what values to actually set in your filters tab. I'm not going to get too super deep into filtering, but this is tonight anyways. I'll kind of give you some analogies I've told Greg before, but it's just a very good tool. If you see a bunch of shit above 100, you're going to need to look at adjusting your filtering. And if you don't know how to do that appropriately, hit up Briscoe or me or somebody, and we can help you get set. But this is just even if you don't understand what I'm talking about, like if you just know that if you got a bunch of shit above 100, especially on D term, and your motors are hot, your filters need adjusted. And if you don't know how to do it, you know that you can ask somebody to get the info. I'm not going to get totally in depth with filtering tonight. A lot of people have covered the topic, but I'm just kind of showing you this tool, so that way you can look at it quickly and be like, and that's what I love about it. You can look at it quickly and be like, oh my God, there's all this noise up here. What the fuck? All right, I need to fix my filters. Help, right? Now, I think you might have had a little crash on this one. I can't remember. But, so what are we looking at here? Well, you've got your response graphs. You got a little bit of overshooting going on here. You did a good job of mostly flying throughout the throttle range. Maybe not quite enough top end stuff, but you did get a good amount of data. And you can see here that he's got a pretty significant overshoot still. He's still overshooting on P, but he is coming down pretty close to 1. I think this log may have a little crash in it because there's a little bit of junk going on here. And so what are you going to do? What do you know to do now? Well, I know that Oily runs high KV motors and for his pack voltage, and he might be borderline on motor heat. So instead of like going directly to like raising D term, I would probably actually recommend that you bring your P term down just a little bit. Because ideally, again, from those first graphs I'm showing you, what you're trying to do is get it to come up quickly, right around to 1, and then level out and stay level and flat across 1. And what you need to do is between P and D is get that effect. So in Oiley's case, again, he's running high KV. I'm going to say start bringing P down a bit, and then let's get it a little closer to 1, and then let's bring D term up after we do that, and just keep checking motor heat until we ideally can get a value that is close to being flat. Now, if your response time starts to suffer, like it starts getting like kind of like this orange yaw line here, if it starts to kind of take longer to get up here, that means your response time is suffering. Now, how do you fix that? Well, what you're looking to do is get that fucker as flat as you can, and then once you do that, you have a P to D ratio, right? And you can then bring them up together, and until theoretically your motors start getting hot because of too much D term. And that's how you actually tune up after you get your ratio. So again, we're looking for a graph that's looking more like these, right? The idea is to get here first by adjusting the P to D ratio. And you want to adjust I so that it's, like I said, nice and smooth and right on 1. If it's above 1, your I's too much. If it's oscillating, your I's too much. You just want to get a relatively smooth line that's just tracking 1. And you want to get a flat response. Now, if you've suffered and like you can see up here, like your response time suffering, you can get a calculator and you can actually tune these values up together. And I'm sorry if I'm not the best teacher, guys, but I'm trying to at least give you some insight into this.
It's all good. I'm jizzing. I'm getting it. Go ahead, go for it.
So now say, this wasn't. So say I knew that this was a 6S quad running, like say 1800 kV motors or whatever. I would say, all right, well, you still got a bit of overshoot, but if your motors are ice cold, let's just start bringing up D term. And you would start bringing up D term until this peak gets closer and closer to 1, and keep checking. Like with D term, you want to do 2-3 points at a time. Check it, log it, do it again, check it, log it, and raise the D term up until this response curve is effectively flattening out as close to starting to look more like these values here. So these are relatively good-looking tunes. This is a good-looking yaw response. Since yaw generally doesn't have as much authority, you're not going to get it quite as flat as you roll in your pitch. But the idea is to get somewhere close to these values. This is pretty close. This is pretty close. Like these are getting pretty close. But you're getting this more flat looking shape. You don't have a big spike like up here or in Oiley's case. You don't have a big spike. And so literally, again, the idea is to you set your P until you're right about 125 or so, and then you try to bring up D until it flattens out and it gets to about 1. And so you don't have a spike, which is overshooting. This is it's going over 1 and then back down to 1. So it's overshooting and then coming down. And the idea is to bring your D up until it is not doing that. You don't have as much overshoot. It comes up to about 1, might just be a little bit over 1, and then flattens out, and that's it, right? Now, if you're bringing D up and your motors are starting to get hot, you need to stop, and at that point, and you need to be logging every change. You need to be, again, 20, 30-second flights. If your motors start to get hot, at that point, you can't add any more D at least, because if you've checked your other graph, if you checked your noise graph and you don't have a ton of noise, then you're good there. And so at that point, you need to bring P down. If you can't bring this thing down with D term, you need to bring your P term down. Again, the goal is to get it to go up to 1, just slightly over, down to 1, and ride out as smooth as possible. What I love about Plasma-Tree, again, is once you start to learn how to read these graphs, you can look at it really quickly and be like, look, I got a bunch of blue. There's overshoot. I didn't, this log sucks, or I got a lot of good amount of data, you know, throughout the throttle range. Because you want to try to go all the way to top throttle and then all the way, you know, and back down. You don't want to be blipping. You just want to ride through all of your throttle while you're doing these tuning flights just to get as much data across the board to let you know what's going on. Now, the other thing I will mention is that the orange line is anything above 500 degrees per second, and the blue line is anything below. So if you're just doing, you know, short little flick maneuvers and things like that, and you're not doing full flips and rolls, like that's what you really want to be doing when you're tuning these. But this is what it's showing you is the difference in above and below 500 degrees per second. Let's see. And ideally, somewhere around here is probably what you're looking for. You know, it's going up to 1, it's more or less leveling out quickly, and it's staying there. When you have, I don't know if I have any other logs. So let's do another one, see if I can get some other data.
Data.
Maybe I just want to show like over damping. So once you close the 2 little windows, the cool thing is that it saves them. So when in my folder here, I now had oily Vista number 2. And if I need to go back and look to remember what I was doing, it's going to bring back my graphs. And the cool thing is also showing your PID values. So at any point you could be looking at like, where was I? You know, I can go back and look at my graphs. I can see what my values were. If I mess my tune up, I can change it. What I'm seeing here is the yaw response is effectively, he's got a little tiny bit of D term. I don't even normally run any D term on yaw, maybe 5 at the most. But this is what we call overdamped. Okay, so it doesn't come all the way up to 1 really, and then it just kind of smooths out and kind of tries to ride up to 1. And if you get that on pitch or roll, that is overdamped. That is too much D term compared to your P term. You're over dampening the PID loop. And so what I would be doing for this tune is that his I comes up pretty close to 1. I would definitely be bringing up my P term on yaw until we get it closer to 1. And I would probably bring I term up just a couple points, just because it's not totally smooth and it's not totally riding at 1. But that would be the main things I would be doing when I'm tuning yaw. Just start bringing P up until it's getting up here, and then smooth out a little bit faster, a little bit less damped in its response time. It needs to happen quickly, get up there, and then just ride it out. Same thing here. I'm trying to think how I can explain. I've been trying to explain, you know, to Greg and I have been talking a lot about tuning. You know, it's like a lot of people like, what are filters? You know, what do filters do? Or what are they actually doing? You know, and as a sound guy, any musician, which is another point I'll make, and that's the reason why some people like to listen to their props. Like, musicians are good at hearing frequencies, beating things that are out of frequency, right? If you're a musician, like if you know how to tune a guitar and you know what beating sounds like, you'll hear beating when your P to D ratios are off. If it sounds like it's fast beating, I think is a little bit too little D, and slow beating is going to be a little bit too much D. But when you get close, you need to kind of fine tune it until it's basically you don't have that beating sound. How we doing on the hackers? Sorry,
We're good.
am I fucking confusing the piss out of everybody? Chat, how we doing out there? I don't want to confuse the shit out of everybody. I'm hoping that you guys are going to retain some of this.
No, Will Brown said I knew none of this. Keep going.
There you go.
Okay.
John Solo's going to rewatch this and record it.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Let's use the drum
Analogy?
analogy.
Well, yeah,
with that.
yeah. I mean, so like again, so like
A lot
you know,
easier to
if
understand.
if you were, say you were a drummer, right, and like musicians get this pretty easily, but like, so if you're a drummer and you get on stage and you kick your kick drum, right, and the PA starts feeding back at that frequency, okay, so it's like wah, it's like you hit a kick drum, it's like wah. Well, as a sound guy, I know kick drum frequency is around 60, 80 hertz, right, and like the fundamental, that frequency somewhere around there, or maybe a harmonic of that frequency, resonance harmonics. You hear about frame resonance, harmonics are doubling. So if your kick drum fundamental is at 60 hertz, your harmonics at 120, 240, and so on and so forth, doubling, right? I would be able to take an EQ and if I have feedback, I would notch the frequency that is actually feeding back. That's what quad noise is like. And if the noise is not filtered properly, it literally begins to feed back. So if you've ever been to a concert and you hear the out of the PA, the singer puts the mic up to his mouth and all of a sudden, that's feedback. And that is effectively what's going on in your quad. Noise in the quad is literally cycling and it gets in your PID loop, and then your PID loop goes crazy and it creates a feedback loop and your quad flies away if your filters are not set right. So with filters, you're we got a Brian Kirby. What up, Brian Kirby? Pilot of the week. Congratulations. So that is literally, it's like filters are literally attenuating the order of magnitude of any given frequency of noise. Big words. What the fuck did I just say? Order, so if you can you tune a piano? No, I can tune a fish. Fucking. So wow. Like so like way out so like you have this. So when your filters are not set right, that's what's happening. You're getting some frequencies or some resonance in the quad is building up, and it's getting past your filters, because filters are attenuators. They're not brick walls. It's not like hitting a brick wall and it stops. What is order of magnitude? It's the strength. So you have a frequency. It's like a note, A, B, C, D, sharp, whatever. It's like a piano note. It's the same shit. That's your frequency of sound or noise. And then the order of magnitude is how fucking loud it is. Okay, and if it's too loud in a situation when you're on, at a concert, if a certain frequency gets too loud from the mic to the PA, it feeds back, and that's what's happening. And a sound guy will use a filter to turn down that frequency so that stops, and it reduces the order of magnitude and brings it down to a reasonable level. Now, what will happen is a lot of people will try to tune. Open up their filters to get the best, least amount of latency and stuff, which is good until something happens like you break a prop. And if it's about finding the balance there that makes sure that your filtering is filtering strong enough that it's in a situation where you have a mechanical failure, that if that frequency, because you break a prop, the quad goes wah, right, and that's when that noise goes crazy. And if your filters aren't strong enough, it will blast past your filtering, flip out the PID controller, and you burn up a motor, or your quad flies away, or something unforetold. I could do the fucking sound thing. You know what I mean? You want to hear that really annoying sound again?
Oh God! Wait! Take the fucking headphones off.
So I'm gonna give you guys a quick look. If I had my, if I take my headphones off, it's not that bad.
For me, it is.
I don't know why. You guys tell me. Here, I'm gonna open up. So I'm gonna open up Ableton Live. It's a fucking DJ sound program, and I just want to show you something. Really quick. Tech hates the sound.
No, I hate it.
If I could go over to my studio and fire up the modular, I would, but I'm not trying to do that right now. But I want to give you guys a kind of an example that you can hear.
Dog, I'm sorry.
All right, so let me just get here really quick. Open resistance. Okay. So hopefully this will work. So I've got a little synthesizer here thing, right? Don't worry, tech. So I got this program, and if I hit, watch your ears, if I hit play, we've got a sound.
It's not terrible.
All right.
There it goes.
Now, this is what a filter sounds like. Now, if you see over here, you see how this shit is going up, especially in the higher frequencies, like around 7, 8K? That's the noise turning up in frequency and order of magnitude. As I'm bringing my filters down, as you're making the filter number lower, you're making the filter stronger, and you're pulling out. Now you just have a nice smooth tone without all that sound. You know what I'm saying? So does that help make sense? Like this, that buzzy sound, that's your noise, right? And this is your filter taking it away. And you just have a nice, now you just have a nice pleasant tone. That's what's going on in your quad, for lack of a better term.
Spagoose said, thanks for this. Now I know why my 1950 KVs are always running hot.
Yeah, I mean, it's about, you know, there's a lot of different trains of thought, and I think there's more than one way to, like, get your tune right. Like, you know, the goal is to get your P to D balance good. And then if you want to try to tune up, tuning up will make the quad respond quicker, but your D term is ultimately going to be your limiting factor, because if your D term gets too high, and your motors are going to start getting hot. Now, you always want to make sure you're backing down a bit, and then you're double checking those graphs to look at your noise to make sure you don't have a bunch of shit on that third window, and in the first window as well, like the other graph. This noise response here. You're checking this area. You also want to check over here, but sometimes you'll have shit. The other nice cool thing about eMoveFlight is you can actually adjust your filters per axis. So if you got a bunch of noise on pitch, but it's not on roll and it's not on yaw, you can just filter pitch more, and 9 times out of 10, that will clean up. Even this noise on pitch could show up on your determined roll and pitch. And if you just bring the filter down a little bit on pitch, most of the time it will clean up roll with it. One axis will a lot of times clean up the other axes once you filter that up. Now, aside from just bringing the value down, like, you can also look at, you guys have seen the drop downs. You got PT1. Now in eMoveFlight, you've got PT1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you have biquad. Biquad is basically 2 filters stacked on top of each other. They're really aggressive. Biquad is more latent, though. It slows the response. So, you know, you only really want to use biquad when you absolutely have to. But most filters, most default settings, it starts at like PT1 or 2 or something like that. Most times it's PT1. In Betaflight for a long time, it was literally just PT1 and biquad. That was your only 2 choices. But like the defaults in EMU, I don't remember what the hell they are off the top of my head. The defaults in EMU, I think, is PT1 right now in 041.
Yeah, yes, it is default PT1.
Yeah, so like if you had noise on your gyro, you had a bunch of crap up here, you may not lower the number. You may just want to bump from PT1 to PT2 and then check it again. Because a lot of times if you can kill the noise on the gyro side, you're gonna kill the D-term noise as well. But that doesn't always work that way, and you may not. The more you filter your gyro, the more latency you're gonna get. So in many cases, I tend to just, as long as there's nothing crazy over here, but I still have heat and I need to I just filter my D term. So I could go from PT1 to PT2, and then check it. And if that doesn't help, then go to PT3. And if that doesn't help, go to PT4. And if that doesn't help, you might try biquad. Now, EMU's also added their alpha, beta, gamma filter, which I'm not going to get too deeply into, but you can also use the alpha, beta filter. If you want, PT1 filter has less latency. So if you think you've got a decent value, but you still have some heat and noise, and you don't want to go to PT2 or up to biquad or any of that crap, you can enable the ABG filter, which is like a secondary filter, and I've been hearing very good reports on that. Like, you know, you want to start high. I think you want to start around 900 and work your way down to see if that can also help. But I don't want to get too off top. I'm kind of speaking towards traditional filter tuning right now because I don't want to. Yeah, we'll leave the more advanced shit
and the
for
alpha
later.
stuff is only available on CLI for now.
No, it's in config 4. Yep. What do we got here in the chat? Y'all can be cause a hot if it's over tunes. Y'all can be a cause of oscillation. Oscillation will cause heat, period. So like if your yaw is overtuned, yeah, you can get oscillation from it, and fucking it will cause heat. But again, you're checking your graphs to make sure that you're not overdamped, but you're also not. You know, if your fucking yaw was going crazy over here, like if your yaw went way up over here, like past 1. You know, yeah, you're definitely running too much P turn. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that, you know, adding to what you were saying about, you know, y'all and whatever, like I always mention people before you start tuning anything that Chad or anybody else has mentioned before, always make sure your hardware is 1000% in check. This is when the OCD kind of kicks in. I can't stress this enough to a lot of people. You know, I've seen this question been questioned so many times on forums, and everybody gives the most retarded answers. Oh yeah, to fix this, fix that. Always make sure your hardware is 1000%. Case in point, one of my friends, he had a quad running KISS on it, and he tried to tune it. Nothing. It just didn't fly right. I said, go with your hardware. He goes, no, everything is fine, blah, blah, blah. He went through us, check all your hardware. So his issue was one of his screws on his flight controller was loose. One screw barely, it was holding on. It was holding enough not to fall out.
It was KISS, you said?
It was on KISS.
Yeah, it happens.
As soon as he went to tie it down where it snug like everything else, his quad flew like a dream.
Yeah,
but before that, he was about to take the quad and throw it against the ground.
I was flying around my one of my KISS quads the other day, and I had that same issue. I'd like punch out and it'd be like, and I'd be like, what the fuck? And then I remembered, oh wait, I must have a fucking loose stack. I landed, picked it up, looked at it, and I could wiggle my stack. I was like, yep.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that also, especially for the people that are new and still learning to fly, is you go over your motor screws. You go over even so much as your wiring itself. Wiring that's either too long and it's kind of flopping, the wire smacking against the arm like this would cause oscillations. If you have a very sensitive gyros, you want to avoid any wiring touching the gyro itself, because even just the motion.
Don't put spaghetti on your fucking flight controller. It drives me crazy. Don't number one, learn how to identify what a fucking gyro is, and I can tell you that 95% of the time it's gonna be the fucking chip right square in the middle. It's not the big chip. It's a smaller little square chip. It's typically right in the middle, unless you're running like a Talon Fusion or something, but generally you need to look at pictures, figure it out, know what your fucking gyro is, and don't put any wires or anything on top of it, near it, or anything like that. If you have to run wires from front to back, try to get them under the ESC.
Yep.
I've run them through between the ESC and the flight controller, but make sure they're not too loose. They're going to be floppy. And absolute worst case, fucking glue them shits down if you have to, or something. You know what I mean? Like, because floppy shit, man, no, that's the fucking bane of tuning.
I'll give you an example. It happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I said my car's flying fine yesterday, now it's flying like crap. What was going on? I checked over everything seemed to be solid, and what actually was is that the gyro on mine is upside down. And what I do is, because I know I basically bit my own lip of exactly what I just finished saying. So I held. You
ran wires under there and they were flopping around?
It wasn't a wire. It was a tape. The tape came loose, and as I was flying, the tape was touching the gyro like this, you know, and just that touching right there caused my fucking quad to turn to shit.
I try to keep my gyro on top if at all. Like, I really try hard. There's very few reasons why you should be running your flight controller upside down. You, like I said, learn to identify what the fuck the gyro is, where it is on your board. Try to keep it on top. unless there's, you absolutely have no choice. And if you can't do that, then you need to really be thinking about those wires between the ESC and that. Don't pile spaghetti on top of your fucking flight controllers. It's terrible.
Shugu, I don't recommend this so much. It's like a last resort thing. I'd rather use a piece of tape than anything else, though, because a Shugu, although it can be palatable and it can be taken out if you warm it up. But if you do it cold, sometimes the Shugu would actually
E6000
attach itself, and you can rip a component out when you're trying to get it off.
E6000 is great. It doesn't. It holds and it comes loose easy. And I mean, worst case, you could use hot glue, but I tend to use E6000 if I need to do that. But generally speaking, like what I do is I keep my gyro on top. I run my wires, under the ESC, under the flight controller, and then I come up to the solder tabs, and that's it. I don't run anything across the top of the flight controller ever. There's no wires laying on top. They're always coming up into the solder pads from front to sides or front to back, whatever they need to be to make it happen. Don't leave a bunch of slack, like Tech said. That's why if you look at my builds, almost like even VTX wires, I will make a little wiring bundle. I get the flexible nylon cable sleeve, and I'll put my wires through that so they're in a nice bundle, and then I fucking zip tie them to the standoffs and shit to keep them from flopping around in there, man. And you don't want anything banging off your fucking FC. You want that stuff to be tight enough, not so tight that it's putting tension actually on the wire and breaking your soldering connections. But by running the wiring sleeve and zip tying it to my standoffs, then I could just have a little bit of wire coming off and go into the solder pad. And it's not enough to be flopping around and doing all sorts of crazy shit. But you want to leave yourself a little bit of slack in case the fucker does break, because you don't want to cut it too short. Always give yourself a little bit extra, but don't leave like a ton in there. Don't leave spaghetti laying around in your quad if at all possible. I mean, it's definitely going to be detrimental to your tuning. I want to address what Spaghetti is saying. So yeah, man, Spaghetti, like with high KV, and Brian Kirby's good at high KV stuff as well. Generally speaking, I find that you want to, right off the bat, I lower my PIDs. When I'm tuning high KV, I'll lower my PIDs by like a third. If I'm tuning, if I'm not doing like a full plasma tree or anything, I will lower my PIDs down. And I find that generally speaking, I cannot run an overall as high a numbers with high KV. You don't need it. Why? Because if you're running high KV, you already have a ton of fucking power. If you're running high voltage, high KV, you already have a ton of power in that motor. I think I've explained it before. What are the fucking terms doing, right? So when you push forward on the pitch stick, P pushes the quad, right? And then when you let go of the pitch stick, P stops the quad. And I tells it to stay where it is. Okay? If you've got overshoot or too much P versus D, you're going to get fast bounce back. If you are over dampening and have too much D, you're going to get slow bounce back. And in some cases, even though your if your P and D ratios are looking good, but you're still seeing bounce back, you're probably running too much I. I term can also cause bounce back, especially in a situation where your pack, especially it happens a lot on pitch, where your CG is not centered on the quad. If your CG is off, the entire time you're flying, your I-term is fighting to keep it where it needs to be. Having optimal CG makes the I-term work less as hard. If you have really powerful motors, really high thrust to weight, you don't need as much P to push the quad because the motors are already doing the work, right? You have a ton of power in the motor, you tell it to do something, the P term is what tells it to do that. Now, if you have too much P, it's going crazy because you have so much power in the motor, so much high KV and high voltage. You don't need it. In my opinion, you don't need it. You fucking get enough P so that it's responsive, does what you want. You use enough D so that it stops. And then if you're trying to tune up a little bit, once you know those ratios, you bring them up together a little bit at a time. And that's how you actually tune up. First thing is to balance. Second thing is to tune up if needed. The biggest thing I say, I think it's in the pinned in the tuning channel.
Will
in
has a
the
question.
Sorry, 1 second, and thank you. Oh, somebody fucking what? Oh, I'm in the wrong goddamn Discord. I'm in the Emu Flight Discord. I'm like, why can't I find the channel I'm looking for?
It's never a wrong thing when it's a good chat.
All right, so I want to put this. Let me get this link here. I want to show you guys this. So, really quick before I, what's Will's question?
About midterm oscillation. I know the answer, but you can go ahead since you started off. He said, what about mid-throttle oscillation?
Well, mid-throttle oscillations in many cases is frame resonance, and you most likely need to adjust your filtering in many cases. And so you need to be looking at that. And that's why Plasmatree is great, because it shows you, look, in noise plot. Damn it, man. In your noise plot, especially, it's down here, it's showing you your throttle from 0 to 100. You have mid-throttle oscillations. You see this little thing here? That's a resonance. If we had a raw gyro log, this would be a lot more apparent. You would have a lot more. I wonder if I have another log I can run, or maybe I just have an example. This guy have. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is lower throttle stuff, and this is mid throttle, a little bit more mid throttle stuff. And as you can see, his filtering is doing a pretty good job on the gyro. Now this little blob here, and even this little blob here, I think on this guy's log, he might have had a crash. And so again, that's why it's good to double check these sometimes in the actual black box Explorer, because you can nip the crash out and then you get a more accurate response. But this is why you want to get a debug plot, because this is showing you what's going on with the gyro before filtering. This is showing on what's going on the gyro after filtering. And then this is all the garbage that's in this guy's D-term, and that's why his motors are cooking. So you would want to verify what's here. This blob may not be real, so you need to look in the black box Explorer, but you can see that there's a lot of crap. It's not terrible, but there is a good amount of crap on pitch that I would probably try. I would probably lower my pitch D-term filter a tiny bit here just to try to clean some of that out. But that's kind of indicative of a little mid-throttle thing. Oh God, I have so many apps open, my computer's gonna crash. And we're gonna get into watching videos here in a minute, but I kind of wanna, let me get rid of Ableton.
The storm's calmed down?
It has here, it seems like.
Yeah, it's like over us right now.
Told you. No, but you go ahead fly.
I'll go fly tonight, bro.
Brian is also correct. You know, extra caps can definitely, you know, electrical noise. If you're running high kV, you're most likely going to have more electrical noise, and you may need to add a secondary capacitor, run two in parallel,
or a diode.
Or voltage, the TVS diodes, which I run in all my builds. You know, with my macro quads, I don't run super high pits. Like, I have to start really low on my macros and tune them up. Some guys will be running P terms at like between like 20 and 30 on a macro, because they just have so much fucking thrust. You don't need as much P to push the damn thing around. And they're also super fucking sensitive to I-term because they have so much authority overall. I-term, like I said, is holding it where it's supposed to be, but if the quad has a stupid amount of authority, you don't need as much I-term. You know what I'm saying? Like, the I-term, if you use too much, can actually become problematic, because again, if your CG is off, your I-term's already working hard to keep the quad the way you want it, and what will happen is the I-term can actually wind up and start causing oscillations and bounce back issues. So if you have a bunch of CG off and then you do a fucking flipper roll and you still have bounce back, that's because your I-term windup is actually is growing too high. And so you need to limit that. There's even a CLI setting that'll help you turn down the maximum amount that your I-term can wind up. But again, this is getting a little bit more advanced, so we don't want to go crazy. Now let's just see if we can look at this dude's thing here really quick. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to show you guys this. I mentioned this in the beginning. I'm going to show you this really quick. So this guy, you know, he takes off. There's nothing major going on in the beginning of his flight, you know. But if you come down to the end, boom. Oh. See all that? That's a hard landing or a crash.
That's
most
a
likely.
bush.
Yeah. So now, if I'm looking at let's go to my pitch. Let me actually look at my gyro on pitch. So I'm going to bring up hit this little button to bring up the graph here, right? It doesn't look too bad, but watch. If I back up and I hit O, do you see what just happened? I cut the crash out. Did you see what happened? So I'm coming back to the end. I'm going to bring the crash back. Boom. You see all that noise? And that's why I could tell that the dude had a crash or a hard landing, because I could look at the log and I'm like, oh shit. So my plasma showed me this big crazy blob. What was that? Well, he had a big crash. And so now I hit O. I'm taking that out of here. And you can see what happens to the noise when I go back and forth. There's a significant difference. So it's important that you're actually making sure you're checking the data and you're getting rid of garbage, because the garbage is going to make your shit seem worse than it is when you're comparing it to a, oh, it's the wrong one. This is oily still. When you're comparing it, that's what this is. This big blob, this shit, that's that crash at the end that I'm now cutting out. And boom, look how much cleaner it is. So now if I were to look at this, you know, without doing that, and I'm looking at this original graph, I would be like, oh fuck, I got to filter that out, right? There's something going on there. Well, it's not even real because it was a crash. So you just need to double check what you're looking at when you start thinking about your filtering. And a good way to do that is to just open up a black box explorer and just take a look at these graphs and like see, like this is the D. Yeah, here's this D term. So this is the D term without the crash, and then this is the D term with the crash. You see how bad that looks? This is with the crash, but it's not, so. But this is what's important: the shit that's really going on when you're in the air and you're not crashing. So that's my tip for using black box as a tool to double check it, and also bear in mind this only goes from 0 to 500 because he is logging at 1K. All right, so when you log at 1K, it's only going to show you up to 500. So you need to be aware of that. So that's why you may have to bring your logging rate up to like 2K or something if you think you've got noise above, that's a problem above that. TPA can be your friend. If you get your P&D balance worked out, but you still end up having a little bit of like upper throttle oscillation, you can reduce your P's and D's a little bit with TPA. When I'm doing this, typically, I zero out or flatten out my TPA so that it's not doing anything, and then I balance. That's actually probably something I should have mentioned earlier. I always basically turn my TPA off, then I tune my P to D ratio to make and checking, you know, throughout the throttle range to get my plasma trees. Matty Blunts. Welcome home, homie.
He's from the long start.
Yeah, we was in the black box.
You know, in Texas.
So I mean, I don't know. Is that too much or does that help? Like, what do you guys think?
It was pretty. I understood it. I don't know about the chat or anybody else.
But I think what's important, the takeaways here is get plasma tree, learn how to fucking make your own graphs, and then you can start you can start, you're well on your way to being able to start, figuring out your tuning especially if you're having issues. If you're having issues, and if you've got data you don't know, like you can understand, like, like I said, there's guys like myself or whatever, I'm happy to take a look at your graphs and stuff. And like I said, and always remember to, especially when you're looking at the noise stuff, double check it in Black Box Explorer, because if you crashed, you probably have noise in your graphs that it isn't actually a problem. And you don't want to set filters based on that noise, because you're probably going to end up over filtering when you don't really need to.
Correct.
And I think that's probably.
That's
You're welcome,
the gist of
guys.
it. Yeah, noise. MS noise. Yeah, we already covered that already. Like,
Yeah, always
10 minutes
never
ago.
let anything touch the gyro. No spaghetti on your flight controllers.
No spaghetti. Also, make sure that, or even your frame itself, make sure everything is bolted down right. Every so often, if you're a person that crashes a lot, maybe every couple of packs, you want to go over your screws, because even so much as a loose screw, would actually affect your overall performance. What else can I go over? You check your GoPro mount, check your antennas. Also, antenna resonance causes some vibration. Unfortunately, you can't avoid
floppy
that.
antennas. Yeah, floppy antennas.
We
Make
do
sure
that.
you're. I see a lot of guys that kind of just like attach to their antenna like with a zip tie, and it's just kind of flopping around. And
That's
there's
not
like
good.
a bulkhead connector, like that brass connector, especially with TBS ones and shit. Don't do that shit, guys. Seriously. And like when you're printing TPU mounts, don't go super low infill or anything. Don't make sure it's not super floppy. If it's super floppy, it's literally floppy dick creating a low frequency vibration that is going to hit your gyro, and it's going to make your quad fly like shit. If you're fucking zip tying your antenna some silly ass way to the carbon, it's gonna fucking be loose. I mean, you really have to fucking lock it down if you're doing that.
Even
Don't.
your battery, people don't realize that.
Yeah.
You can tie down your straps. Make that short. That thing is tight as best you probably can without stripping the battery strap. What else can you go over? Screws. Even your VTX and anything like that. If you're a person that zip ties it, make sure it's nice and snug. Cameras are snug. The small things that you would never think about it is one of those things where you have to be OCD about your setup. And then once you got that going, if you still got problems, then you go ahead and play with your PIDs and your filtration. Get it right. Just remember, I don't know if Chad mentioned it. You're never gonna get it like 1,000%. Like I said, you want to stick to that baseline, that rough number, so you get as narrow as possible. But it would never ever be like a flat line. If it's a flat line, you're flying in space, as far as I'm concerned. You're always gonna have. Also, try when you're tuning. Another rule of thumb is when you're tuning, you're on the field. Try to pick a calm day. Don't do it on a windy day, because even the wind itself would add to your noise level. Just from the movement itself. What else can I bring up?
Tune with fresh props.
Yeah.
Tune with good props. But we got to get into videos, so we're gonna have to get off this topic. The last thing I wanted to touch on, I'm gonna put a link in the chat here, is a ratio calculator. Okay, so as I was showing you, once you get that P&D ratio, and you're getting that nice climb up to 1, and it's getting flat, but maybe your response time has suffered, especially with filtering, you can try to tune it up a little bit. But if you raise P, once you get that balance set, if you raise P, you've got to be raising D to maintain that balance. So there's this little ratio calculator. It's super dope, and I'll just show you really quick. I put the link in the chat. So say your P is, it's 50 and your D is 28, right? That's what your thing is. And so you're like, okay, I want to bring it up. I want to bring my P up a little bit, so I want to go 55 on P. You hit calculate, and boom, it's telling you, it says 30.8, so 31. It will tell you the missing digit to maintain your ratio, so you don't have to do the math. So yeah, if your P is 48, your D is 32, and say in this situation, your D term, you're starting to get motor heat and you want to bring your D term down, you could say, I want to go down to 29 and calculate, and boom, it's telling you 43.5. So you need to be right around 43, 44 on your P term. And it's stupid easy, guys. The last thing I do want to mention, though, in all of this is that, honestly, try to start learning a bit about filtering. Start watching. There's some great tutorials out there. If you are looking at those noise plots, if you're looking at this shit and you've got problems, you've got noise issues and things, all right, don't even start tuning P. I mean, don't even start tuning your PIDs, because until those noise plots are decently under control, that noise is just going to fuck up your tune. And you're going to chase your tail. You're not going to be able to get your PIDs right if your filters are fucked. Okay? So if you don't understand how to set your filters, find somebody that does. Get advice, whatever. Say, hey, dudes, I got this crazy noise thing. Look at my graph. I got this crazy noise thing. What do you do? And then work on those filters primarily first. Fix those problems if you have them. If you see crazy shit on your graph, you know, it may not even be the like Tech was saying. Like, I had a quad that one of my macros, my 8S one, I would try to fly it and it would fucking oscillate no matter what I was running. Turned out my stack was a hair too tight and two of the chips were touching in flight. And I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it when I built it. It was just a little bit. So I ended up getting slightly bigger spacers, got some space between it, tuned right out, gone. So look, that's another thing to remember. Like, make sure you're not smashing your fucking flight controller on top of your ESC, because if there's chips touching, not only do you run the risk of a short, you're fucking up your tune right out the gate. And you should see that on these noise plots. So that's what I'm saying. Plasmetry is stupid easy. Get it. Learn how to use it. Learn how to make your own graphs, because it's a quick way for you to check to see if you have a mechanical problem. If something, you see something really crazy, and it's telling you that you need to be looking at for a mechanical problem, or you need to be looking at your filters, and or a little bit of both. And it's literally drag and drop, and it's gonna spit out some pictures, and you'll be able to quickly look and see and potentially pinpoint problems, or at least provide something to somebody else to help you. So I think that's probably the gist of it. Here's the ratio calculator link. Pop sticks, hot glue, log booms. What up? What is real? Juan Solo won that.
The hell you need popsicle for? Use chopsticks.
I would there's a couple trains of thought about props. Do not try to tune with fucked up props, because those are going to show up as things that aren't actually a problem. A PID controller needs to be tuned, ideally for general, conditions. Don't fly with super fucked up props and do that either. Like, look, within reason, right? Like, but if your props have been bent back a couple times, it's going to show up in your filtering. And then you're going to set your filtering because of that, but you're setting it wrong, because that's really not how the quad should be. That's not actually what it needs to be.
And it's going to introduce a latency when you fly once you got it tuned.
Well, over filtering is going to introduce more latency, yeah. I mean, if you tune it out with good props, even if as your props diminish, you shouldn't see it as much. To be honest. The only other thing I recommend is, like I said, a lot of guys, like crazy tuner guys, would like start turning off filters and stuff. And I mean, yes, you could do that, but you got to find a balance, because if you turn off your filtering or don't have your filtering quite as aggressive as it needs to be, and you break a prop, you're gonna pop your motors, because you won't have the filtering there to stop it. So you just have to be very careful when you start turning off things or opening things up.
And don't send it because you think your quad is flying fine. I had one of my local guys literally install a stack, flew half a pack, and blew the whole entire stack because he went ahead. Thought he was flying good. He sends it. No, don't do that. Jay, take out what Chad mentioned before. You fly for 20 to 30 seconds, at most 40 seconds. Don't go crazy doing super moves. Just do generic stuff. Land and check all your motors for any heat. If it's heat, stop what you're doing and go over everything again and start tuning.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that if, you know, a little nicks or things of that nature, like what I recommend you tune the quad with fresh props, and then you can check it. Like if you notice, you know, yes, if as your props are getting a little fucked up, if your tune is too aggressive, it's gonna show up. But again, I just recommend start with a fresh set of props, because then you have a known variable. Because if you start with fucked up props in some way, you're gonna see stuff that may not actually even be an issue. It could exasperate something else that isn't really there. But then as you're tuning up, especially after you get your balance and you start to tune up, if your props are getting a little dinged up, that's not a bad thing in that case. It's all about that initial getting that balance in your tune. And it's like, you know, it's like Greg said, if you overstretch a fucking drum head, it's not going to hold its tune. You know, that's why when you tune a guitar or a fucking drum head, you start low and you bring it up and you get it tight enough so that it's not overstretching, because if you overstretch them, they're never going to hold tune. And so it's about getting that balance between tight enough and not too tight. Greg looks like he's going to fall asleep. Let's watch some videos, guys, because I actually need to get the fuck out of here. See you soon.
Good topic.
You guys asked for it, so I'm trying, you know. I hope it wasn't too heady, and, you know, we can carry this on, you know, in the Discord tuning hub and stuff, and yeah, check out the tuning hub in the Emu Fly Discord if you're there. Get Plasmetry. Try to learn how to use it. If you need help, hit me up.
Just call us a UAV pre-tech.
Tune on new props or some used for freestyle. Yeah, I mean, I always start with a fresh set of props. You're gonna fuck you're gonna start fucking your props. I think when the semi-used props thing kind of comes into more play is when if you're starting to tune up, like from a balance. The most important thing is get balance, a good balance first. Make sure everything's mechanically sound at first, so that way you can get a good read on the quad filtering and stuff. And then as you're flying and sessions happen, you know, if you want to start tuning up, use that calculator I posted and bring those things up together. And then again, if your props are getting damaged, you start to get a lot more problems. Your tune might be too aggressive. It might show you that your tune is too aggressive at that point. That's the way I do it. Again, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to succeed at this, and there's different trains of thought about how to get to the same place. So, I mean, your mileage may vary, and yeah, I mean, but if you start lower and tune up, balance, tune up, you really can't go wrong. Like, even if you don't tune up really, like if does the quad fly okay? Are you happy with it? Like, once you get it balanced, are you happy with it? Like, don't go crazy chasing the dragon for set point. Like, a lot of guys say, it's got a rep match set point. Fuck it, dude. If it feels good, if it's flying the way you want it, it's doing what you're telling it to do, and you're happy with the way that feels, that's
my philosophy. Once I get something where I want it to be, I don't fuck with it anymore.
As long as you follow the criteria, you don't got fucking burning motors, you got crazy oscillations, send it.
Yep, I'll rock old firmware for a while if my quad's flying perfect.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'll be like, well, I'm not gonna change it. Like, I could put 040 on another quad, but I don't want to because I don't feel like changing the way it flies. I love the way it flies right now.
That's fine. Go for
That's
it.
great. So,
but if you don't do 4.0, I would disown you. Go ahead.
I did it on my other
Play
quad.
the videos.
I liked it because
We're getting into
quad
the.
had some issues before. No, it
We
doesn't.
I'm just messing.
We're gonna start getting these videos rolling. We can keep talking about this as we go.
PTV exclusive.
Oily.
Hola. Dab time.
I can't handle anymore.
AFK.
It's been a while since he's flown this gas station.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I hope this running through this again with you guys a little bit will help get you a little closer to being able to start, like I said, making your own graphs and stuff on your own and learning how to read them. And
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely interested. I gotta build
It's not
myself
hard.
a 4.0 quad here.
it's not hard. Like I said, what I like about plasma trees is not nearly as like what the fuck is going on in this Black Box Explorer.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta build another quad here soon. I still gotta try 4.0 out.
Yeah, I'm switching a couple over to 4.0 now, but I'm not touching my Bandolero right now because it flies so good.
Yeah.
It's like an ex-bowling alley, Big Wiley's flying it.
It's like a gas station with like a restaurant. Yeah. So it looks like a rest stop basically.
Yeah.
Bando rest stop.
I wonder if he's flying Kiss or he's flying Emu on that one.
He's been pretty stoked on Emu. Greg was saying that he said his Emu quad's flying better than his Kiss quad.
Yep, it's probably yep, exactly how it is, brother. It's not fucking placebo. Yeah, you had to fucking do a damn trippy spin.
Of course.
No?
You had to do one. Today, I mean, ish.
You gotta do it.
I get it.
It's one of those things you have to just commit to it.
It's you
Yeah.
have to run hightail to do it, though, right?
What?
You have to run hightail to do it.
No.
No, you can do it.
I run like 20 degrees.
Yeah, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've done them at
Find
20.
yourself like an area with some tall trees in it.
Yeah. I live right next door to Florida.
What you can do is do like remember we had that vertical roll challenge thing?
Yes.
Start doing that, but then like start like swinging your ass end around with like some yaw, so like you start funneling. And that's like the basic idea of trippy spin.
It's like a reverse orbit almost.
Yeah.
So you get the
Yeah, I haven't had the stomach to do it yet. It's one of those tricks that it's in
Is
the
this
back
linear
burner of my
rates?
head. Who's that guy?
Is this linear, Swifter?
This
Quack.
is
Quack.
No, is this an analog quad or a digital quad?
I don't know.
He's playing potato FPV.
I think it's actually both. And I think right now I'm flying the digital quad in this clip.
Oh, okay. Can you tell which one is the?
It switches later on in the video.
Do you know which part? Do you know which part is the analog part?
Yeah.
Let us know so like
Yeah,
that
I
I can
do.
get an idea. I want to see the difference between you are flying to this to that.
I just can't see Chad's video very well, so I'm
Yeah.
behind.
You got to turn the filters on for
Oh, it's just
Chad's video.
Yeah, this is definitely my digital quad. I can see the blue on the GoPro on the side.
Oh fuck! What are you
If
talking
you see
about?
orange, it's
Yeah, the
it's the analog.
I don't see blue.
It's in the
Very
vignette.
It's a sharp
It's in
turn.
the vignette.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the vignette. I just see the mount.
Yeah, it's the mount's blue.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
I'm on season 8 of The Walking Dead right now.
Oh damn. Catching up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm getting
recently re-caught up. I stopped watching in like 9 or some shit, and then I just restarted and finished it all.
It's different the way it's changed. I've noticed it. The evolution of the show itself and the characters. Like me and my one of my coworkers had the
This
huge
is
argument.
this is an analog quad. I think I'm playing
Yeah, say
now.
to like
Yeah,
orange or
it's
red.
orange.
Yeah.
Uh,
My analog quad.
me and my friend had a big argument because he was like at the beginning of the Walking Dead, he was like team, Shane. He's like, oh yeah, Shane, yeah, blah 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 blah, and he's like, he hated Chris. And then I was like, I told him, I predicted, I said, watch Chris become exactly like Shane, and sure enough, he did. It actually even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this here is all my analog quad.
Spoiler alerts.
What, for his flying? Oh yeah, yeah.
Which he did.
Which he did.
Yeah, wish he did.
Yeah, cause I was telling the guys in the chat, Waldo, that my ex-girlfriend, she was a big Walking Dead fan, and she met Norman Reedus at one of the shows, and he signed her hand. She left the show and got it tatted, so she's got like Norman Reedus's, tattoo in her hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a hardcore. Yeah. Shame we're not together, because I would have taken it to a couple of shows. You think you're tripping? I'm tripping because right now I'm watching the Zoom plus the plus the Facebook, and there's the delay. So as I'm watching, it's like this trippy. Like every time he goes left, the video is delayed by the right. So I'm getting this kind of warp effect.
Yeah. Like I got my phone right in front of the other screen, so yeah, I'm seeing like both right in front of each other.
You see the live, and then you see like right now for us it ended, and it's still showing on the Facebook page.
I ran into a couple of total amateurs out here asking if they could have some lessons in FPV.
Yeah, who's this Jesse Perkin looking guy? Oh, next to the Jimmy D Cricket over here.
Sorry, man, I got you. And then this guy.
And then that guy right there, that
Alright, so that's what I get for calling those guys amateurs. First one to crash
Oh
today.
damn. That guy, Mr. Will Brown. Ooh. Oh, what the fudge?
But luckily, it's a convenient little guardrail that all I had to do was step over to get in to get my quads.
Nice. He said he worked on season 8. As mentioned.
That's dope.
That's dope. Oh, that guy, Will Brown, yeah, he definitely sucks. Definitely. I mean, I didn't say he said it. Somebody doesn't like his fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've yet to fly a Brando.
I don't know. I've flown in like a few, and they're awesome because there's a lot of gaps, but also there's a lot of just exposed steel to run your fucking camera into.
Yeah,
that's true. Nah, it's like there's one spot that me and my friend keep looking at by neck of the woods. I'm like, if we don't fly it or find a way to get in there, we're gonna lose our opportunity.
Cat!
Yeah. Stay humble and drip shit. Okay. Yeah, only if you offer me like food might come. And I don't want none of that, you know, commercial shit. I want some of that grimy, like hole in the wall, ATL based food where, you know, uncle somebody of another is back there sniffing his nose and cooking for you at the same time. That's the spots I like.
I just need to go achieve, I just need to acquire. So I've been climbing up this ladder, yes, I'm going up higher. I need to do it till the day that I might retire.
And that explains that.
And we've got another one down.
There's your answer, Waldo, what you mentioned. Oh, he's playing a something base model. Hello, cricket.
Oh, same spot.
Yeah. I already saw his video.
Spoiler alert.
All the cricket's still flying low tilt. Remember, he started off really low tilt, like 10 degrees.
What's he flying now?
I don't know. I think he still is.
Yeah, I didn't think he changed that.
Uh-uh.
I tried the 0 degree to 10 degree tilt before, and it was just a little too much. Too floaty.
Yeah, it is too floaty. Yeah.
You just get used to it, though, I guess.
It becomes a norm, but
It
that's
changes. It changes the way you fly a bit.
it does.
I find the sweet spot 20 to 35, depending on how I want to fly.
No, you wanna laugh? I totally forgot because I was running about 45 degrees for the drag race at with Chad that weekend, and I totally forgot about it. I left my setup exactly the way it is, and I mean I was aware of it, but not like, you know, like whatever. I'm used to flying, whatever. So I'm flying it, and I forgot that you lose more yaw authority and you get more roll authority, and I totally forgot about that. And I go do a yaw spin and just, the bitch went to fucking full roll. I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, he said well, so same tilt, but not
I don't even know what yaw is.
Nah, because you like to eat it.
My fucking rolls look like yaw.
That's exactly what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, you're running like 50 degrees of tilt.
Yeah, he's Mr. Oh, come follow me. Fuck you.
It makes you corner like a motherfucker, though.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
Nice.
Well, he is king of reversals while flying backwards.
Ain't never panic, I'm a superhero. Target my goals and I'ma shoot the arrow. When God turned the heat up on me, he said you De Niro. Play your part, got some brains like the scarecrow. Let's play it smart, cause we ain't playing checkers, this is chess, play your pawns. Sit back like a king, when they move, make your mark. And never ever let your competition take your heart. Say I believe in myself. When everybody stop believing, never leave on yourself. They had my back against the wall, I had to lean on myself. Almost made me put my dreams on the shelf. I'm tripping. Laws of attraction, you just think I'm rapping. I'm just putting out the energy so I can grab it. Everything that's in my memory that I imagine is finally here. 100 million in a year.
Me too, oily.
Yeah, you like rock stars? I'm an anthem. I don't know. Can't think of anything else.
Oh.
No, he's not a rock star. He's an interdimensional meteorite shaping existence.
Oh, nice. Oh
Noise.
man, something sounded wrong. Listen to it. It's like
probably the prop bending and it's like grinding into the frame or something.
It sounded like it was trying to fucking turtle while it was still flying.
Pretty much.
I don't know. I was getting a weird sound. I never heard this quad sound like this.
Yeah, it's the flyer. He's talking.
That was just a Walmart pack.
Messing with you, Jay.
And make it happen. Staten Island, so I had to get the shakes off, you know. So that was a good first pack. Let's change the props. See what we get after. To wrap up the day.
God, I haven't been over Flushing in such a long time.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Open field, trees around it, and a lake. He's got him saying Mandalo. You know, it's kind of really fucked up. If you change 2 letters in the word, it becomes offensive. Seriously, you check out the you check out the N and the D, and you convert it to an M and an A, and basically you're saying suck it. Pretty much, that's it. You gotta just change 2 letters, and it becomes suck it. You go from Mandalo to Mamamelo.
Oh yeah.
As we say in PR, Mamabicho. Which means suck a dick. Or it could be what's up, depending how you say in content. Don't go chasing waterfalls into the rivers and thanks Marcus. Now I gotta listen to freaking TLC. These nuts will probably be. It depends, really. We don't have a word for that per se, though. Nuts could be huevos. Esto huevo.
I love that intro.
Right, time to take flight, drone of Arcadia.
Oh God, I love this episode.
Al married to David Cross.
Oh, you didn't put the right part.
That was awesome.
The part with the drone is getting SMN. That was hilarious. Well, Mama La Pinga, Will Brown, is mean suck my dick.
So I was on channel 6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sound like you had a rock in his fucking motor right there, dude.
Oh yeah, rocks. Yeah. Brrr. Shit, speaking about waterfalls, shit, would it be so cool to like fly Niagara Falls? Oof.
Send it real quick.
Shit.
Get out of there.
I don't think you even make it half a pack before they got guns for up on top of you.
You just hide somewhere.
Just hide and send it.
Yeah. It's not like we have to sit there like holding a fucking iPad, looking at it, line of sight, and she'd be like, nah, just fucking send it real quick. Get the fuck out of there.
That's pretty much 99% of all the fucking
One way whoop.
One way whoop. Yeah, dude.
Man. We got HD whoops nowadays.
Nah, my friend did that. He went to Italy and he showed his whoop, and it was like, "Yo, where's the whoop?" He goes, in the you know, in the water somewhere because he went to Venice. I'm like, wait, what do you mean? So he posts the footage, bro, and you see the fucking thing just dying and fall right in the water. I was like, what a dick.
One way whoop.
But that was beyond one way. But he always doing that. This is like the third whoop he's lost. Well, bro, you got to just watch a bunch of novelas and what else? And watch Stand By Me a few times, and maybe you get, you know, locked on the Spanish. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
I just was like, so fucking. I showed Big Oily one of my. Well, he was looking at one of my builds when we were out, when he was up here, and he's like, dude, because I was talking with you earlier. I was kind of talking about how clean I try to build my quads. And this is the funniest description I've ever heard. He's like, dude, that's serial killer clean. I was like, whoa, what? I was like, that cracks me up now. I always think about it now. It's like when I'm building, I'm like, well, not that I've been building, but recently I've been working on some shit though.
Just reenact that scene from, what was it, Psycho?
American Psycho?
Yeah, where he's still showing off the cards, but they're all showing off each other's clean builds.
Check this one. Oh, he used the nylon fucking wire covers.
You have to see that movie, American
Tasteful.
Psycho.
Dude, that's why when I do sit down and do a build, it usually takes me over a week to get it done. Like, I take fucking so much time. I dry fit everything, put everything where I think it needs to go. You kind of fit the look.
Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of. It would take me like 8 hours to build a quad.
Well, let me just put it this way. Let me just put it to just don't cross me. You might find out.
Don't push you to the end because you might.
You might find out that there's a lot of bodies somewhere.
Now we know why. Now we know why you don't fly in Queens anymore. That lake. Now,
Bonk?
usually, like when I build a quad up, I take one day just to like look at how I'm going to fit it in, and then I've gone down from 6-8 hours, so I could do a complete build in 3 hours.
I just wanted to bonk it a couple times.
That including hover testing it.
I like that spot though. I'd go.
Check it out. Here comes a hawk.
It's my favorite part.
Uh-oh. What's happening? Ah, no! Look at that poor squirrel just watching.
It's your nuts, John Solo.
Ah, crap, it's busted. And I bet it's completely traumatized.
I wasn't traumatized, actually. It was planned. Part of the games we play.
That's funny as fuck.
What's this? Some DJI drone stuff.
It's the setup.
Oh shit, I just realized he converted himself to a Simpson look on his logo. Nice. Good shit. Oh, there goes a bumper on the RX-7. Another RX-7.
That's a badass one.
I missed my car. I had the same fucking S13. In black too. Ugh. AKA Michael Jackson, I used to call my car.
I want a Supra.
Yeah.
My brother has one. Well, I kind of own a Supra already, but it's, you know, of the 4-door variety. Yeah, man. Like I know, like my cars are like pretty decent modern technology, and my 240 had none of that. But something about just not having all that, it just seems I don't want with the fucking car. Look at that old M3. Look at that old. I like that body style. The 360s. Early 90s. Ugh, I miss mine. I got mine for a crackhead price too.
Who is this?
Huh?
Who's
My Life Co.
I think it needs more stickers in the rear.
He's got all the horsepower he can handle, man.
That car doesn't weigh anything. Literally, that car does not weigh anything. I used to get trucks that fucking blow me to the side when I used to pass because of the draft. Nice, good shit, good shit, good shit, good shit. Because it was cars. Oh, copyright strike, here we come.
Broccoli FPV.
Broccoli? Chopping broccoli?
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Womp womp.
Just keep talking through it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that.
Maybe it won't pick it up.
Maybe it won't, yeah. Yeah, so here's a 3-1. Here's the recipe to making arroz con gandules.
Oh yeah.
You take a crock pot or a steel pot. You put about 1 or 2 cups of rice in it, and then you basically fill it up with water to it's almost like a little above the rice line. Or you use a fork to stick it in there. I'm just talking to for the video.
How many people can that feed?
2 cups, maybe about 4 or 5 people, depending on how big the portions are.
How many limes do I need?
What if I'm really hungry?
1 cup will fill 1 person, bro. I can't even finish 1 cup of rice. Once that thing starts swelling, it gets real big.
All right.
And then you throw your condiments in it. Some sofrito, maybe some
Some Fritos.
No,
Some
not
cheese.
Fritos.
Cheetos?
No, sofrito.
Sofrito?
Sofrito. You put some sofrito in there. Sofrito is like
Sofrito?
Sofrito is like, how can I put it? It's like a bunch of vegetables and seasoning all into one. It's like a green looking kind of thing. It looks almost like guacamole, but it's not. You put some of that in there, a little bit of oil in there, and then you basically just put it on the stove about maybe medium high. Bring it to a nice rapid boil. I'm sorry. And you throw the gandules in there or the peas, and
let it simmer.
And then once it start bubbling, like get a rapid fire, then you kind of close the lid, lower the mid, and let it cook for, I don't know, maybe half an hour or so, 45 minutes, depending on your pot.
You gotta let it stiffen up.
Let it stiffen up, let it swell up, make sure the rice gets nice and fluffy. You don't want it to be sticky. Now, if you want some of that pegao, if you don't know what pegao is basically burnt rice at the bottom. That's like candy, You cook it a little bit higher until it burns.
Burnt candy.
It's pretty much. It's like I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Again, it's a fucking fake Puerto Rican I am, and people love it. You slap some ketchup on it and call it a fucking day, or give it to kids as a treat, whatever.
That's gross. I can't eat anything that's burnt.
Nah, this is different.
People are eating it as fucking candy.
No, it's different though, because it's like pegao. It catches the seasening from the sofrito and all that, and it's really good. There you go. I did my part. Ooh, hopefully no copyright strikes.
We made it.
Follow me on OnlyFans for how to make a tamalet.
Freedom tamalet.
I know how to make it too. It's fucked up as it sounds.
Tamales.
It's not even Puerto Rican, just more like a Mexican dish. Didn't we just watch McGuire?
Just got the double play today.
Oh, son of a bitch.
This is an
2-spotter.
exclusive.
I think he needs more logos. What the hell? We have more footy from Gates of Hell?
Apparently he does.
Well, he did flew a lot of packs that day. Remember, he flew a bunch of packs before you arrived, so yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he put a lot of packs. You damn right, Will Brown, sofrito and tamales. Not tamales, but, you know, freaking Chad F that up.
What?
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 I say what?
Omelet.
What? What in the butt?
What, you want to do butt stuff? What?
What? But why? I don't think you copyrighted for this song, so we're good. Yeah, I want to go there like this weekend, but I know there's a fucking pond right about now.
Okay, hit the deck says turn the volume back up, Chad.
No.
He's like, no, it's my party and I cry if I want to.
Why, you grooving over there?
Oh yeah.
Is he rolling face? Rolling his face off?
They're on your head of deck, bro.
Oh yeah.
This is real. Killed Risco. Oh.
Ric Flair's rolling his face off.
Woo! Oh yeah. Ric Flair's on lots of cocaine or something.
I remember this. Yes, I remember this batting flip because I was actually watching him as he did it, like live. Yo, anybody want to rewind those motors there? You know what's funny about that place? There's a third floor. There's a third floor that's actually spotless. Oh shit.
Good thing there wasn't a Risco standing there.
Oh, would have been a risk. I want to go there back. But I know it's a fucking, right now it's a pond. It's like literally like ponds upon ponds upon ponds. Is that Mr. Brian? I can tell it's Mr. Brian. Is that Mr. Kirby? Actually you do. Will Brown, you do have access to all the floors. The only big difference is that for that clean building, yeah, you just go up the stairs, it's right there. The bigger side of the building, for you to get from one part to another part, you have to go through a maze to get to each floor. So you just can't just go up and to that floor. You have to go like behind the building and find the hidden spot to get in, and then if you want to go higher than that, you gotta find another freaking spot. It's a maze just to get from floor to floor. Like when Sully crashed his quad on top of the building, you have to literally go in through the clean building and then over the walkway and then go up 3 flights just to get to the top of the building. Well, you could get your shit back, just don't drop it in water. Expect oil he knows. Chad, we need to go back to Riverhead's Palo to catch the motocross guys.
Yeah.
Nice. Good shit, good shit. Gearhead was a big. That reminds me of what is it? Gears of War.
Mm-hmm.
Little shit, bang bang. Just Farouk. Farouk. Nice.
Bang.
Bang. What I'm seeing this area reminds me of Pablo Pocapsi, whatever his name is. Pocapsi, freaking iNav developer.
What the fuck, bro? Not like that.
Left hop.
Yeah, every day that's you and me. All day that's us, boo. Came through with that new thing. See, I don't know why I trust you. Crazy now, I'm just too on. Maybe now I'm just too gone. Maybe now I'm just looking for that same vibe that you on. Cause I'm out here with my boys, going crazy in this bitch. Overseas, getting Benz, no Mercedes in this bitch. We made the album 9 months. Had a baby in this bitch. I'm with your bae on the run, like I'm Jay-Z in this bitch. I don't smoke a lot, but I get green. But ball out, no SBs. I caught you out, you got serving that beat stop, no step team. I came through and that's real shit. No, Nova came, but I feel this. Feeling kid when I feel banks, I still be spitting that Will Smith. I shut it down, we do that. Hell yeah, we knew that. Little girl, give me them crazy eyes. Orange is that new black. Black code out, so I think about it. Stress me out, so I drink about it. They talk a lot, but it's all good, so it's too real. Don't think about it.
She take me out of my place, but I stay in my zone. Look me right in my face. She can see through my soul. I said, don't think about it.
There you go, Pablo.
I said, don't think
Halfway
about
right.
it. She take me out of my place, but I stay in my zone. Look me right in my face. She
Kind
can see through my soul.
Pablo cult. I butchered everybody's name. Really.
Came up as a church boy with my dukes on weekends. Waking up at like 6
Ain't this Kanye West?
If you sleeping, man, you don't know where I come from. You don't know what I've been through. Realize I don't say shit about all the bread that I sent you. You getting mad, I'm sitting back, I'm fucked up, I'm getting trash. Gotta go watch 2 gold chains and I go real like Trinidad. Trick, I'm the man. Act like you know me. Popping off like a semi. Man, I rap like it's loaded. I made my crew hot, your crew not. We too blue shot on this side. It's all big, man. I ain't dissing on Tupac. Just East Coast, all East Coast. These young bloods don't know better. Most of y'all got no chill. They'll get it poppin' in snow weather. Some kids just need love. They'll put in work for like no cheddar. Looking up to them dope boys. They got bands like Coachella. Yeah, just remember, I might have your girl for dinner. I'm the man year round, January to December.
She take me out of my place, but I stay in my zone. Look me right in my face. She can see through my soul. I said, don't think about stay in my zone. Look me right in my face, she can see through my soul. I said don't think about it. I said don't think about it. She take me out of my place, but I stay in my zone. Look me right in my face, she can see through my soul. I said don't think about it. I said don't think about it. She take me out.
His bone.
Now it's bones. Whistle. Wait, that's from Blade Runner. Oh, nope. I spoke too soon. I thought it was. Not like Blade Runner.
What?
I said almost sound like Blade Runner. Double.
Once again, shout out to the pilot of the week, Bone FPV.
Whistle.
Yeah, bro, I'm getting tired of city life myself.
I've been tired of sea life. Is that a school? No.
What?
said get your risk over here. Where am I at?
You just pin the plasma stuff in the tuning channel?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so for y'all following along at home, there's I pinned both the plasma links in the tuning channel in the Goon Squad Discord, the Get FPV how-to articles in there, and if you Google, there's plenty more out there that can help you, but those are the two most relevant pieces of information I think you could need.
That was an awesome rip.
Yes, it was.
Bamba.
Bamba clat. Bamba clat.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Woo. Damn. Yeah, Greg, he's coming for you, bro. He's like tearing up the tree spot like fucking crazy.
This is a cool ass spot.
This is a cool ass, yeah.
He's in France.
He's a good ass. This is a good ass dude
that's
too, man.
Florida, dude.
It's Florida.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, Florida is with their big mountains, you know, speed bumps.
And fucking pine trees.
Mm-hmm. No, those are palm trees that classify themselves as pine trees.
Bumkalat.
They're non-binary trees.
Ooh. Got some fucking tree stylage.
It actually looks like Oregon.
Because it's got mountains on it, automatically is Oregon.
It's France.
That's racist.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's France, but I'm saying like it looks
Yeah.
like fucking Oregon.
It does, yeah, it does.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Eat it.
Bumbaklat.
Yeah, man.
Jaman. All right. Well, that's it for this week's B2P.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That
Hey,
is it for
Waldo,
the-
are you from Westchester? Because, you know.
Have you ever seen that video? We can't watch it on here. It's so bad.
No, it's so rated R.
It's so rated R. It's fucking. I'm gonna send you some links in PM.
All
But
right.
it's fucking. Matt was like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" When I said, I put those links in there, dude. Oh, if you guys at home want to know, just get on Google and just Google "That's It," and was it love match or some shit or love?
Yeah, love match. That's it, or you know.
It's this
Yeah, that's it.
guy. It's this dude. He pretends to be a transvestite or
From New
something from New York, and he's got dude. He's so fucking funny, bro. It's so wrong, but it's fucking hysterical.
What makes it more funny though is like, I know
It's so
girls
accurate.
That talk like that. People that talk like that.
Dude, it's so accurate. It's fucking It's terrifyingly accurate. Like, yeah, chicks from the Bronx, dude.
Why gotta be the Bronx, bro? Yeah, but he's right. He's
Because
right, though.
it's wrong.
He's right though.
Because I'm right. It is so, dude. Just, oh
But he
my
said
god.
he said Westchester, and Westchester's closer to the Bronx than say it than the boroughs.
No.
So,
He's not from Westchester. He's from the Bronx. He's looking for somebody from Westchester because he wants to get his tits done. Dude, it's fucking hilarious. It's terrible and hilarious all at the same time. But we're not gonna get into that on this show. You guys can go investigate that. But that's it.
That's it.
That's it. And it's so inappropriate, but it's so fucking hysterical. Did you watch that, Greg? Did you ever watch that?
No,
Oh, man.
I'm tempted to watch.
We can watch it after we turn off the stream. I'm not gonna put it on the stream though. But all right, you guys have a wonderful fucking week. Artie should be back next week. He's getting internet tomorrow. He's in his new house. They just got delivery of their shit, and he's trying to get settled in and all that happy horse shit. So we should see the big man next week. And you guys have you played. I'll take you to the hole. I'll take you. You play basketball? I'll take you to the hole. Will Brown knows who we're talking about.
Yeah, he knows.
Yo, dude. Oh my god. But yeah. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful week. I pinned the tuning shit in the tuning channel, like we said, and get that shit. Start making your graphs. Set your logging rate to 2K to start, and make sure you're clearing your flashes. And yeah, and you don't need to necessarily I've tuned out. Like, I haven't done the exact process that GetFPV lays out. You can basically do it, from stock and work your way around it, but it can be a little easier to do it the way that, like, GetFPV is describing how to do it to some degree. So, anyways, guys, if you have questions, hit us up in the Discord. We'll try to help you out, of course, each and every time. And we'll see you next week for the next B2P. And Waldo, good to see you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thanks for coming on, bro.
Glad
Hey,
you got
thanks
to
for
come and
letting me
hang
have
out
a
with
day
us.
off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
why. Nice.
Yeah, I got 6 days off. It's gonna be sweet.
What?
Awesome.
Go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, dude.
Chat, we love you, dudes. You guys be good. Be safe.
Stay
Get
black.
out there and send some. I just can't. I just can't anymore. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Johnny.
Woo.
Bye.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Sword of omens, give me sight beyond sight.